tapped.
Baylor, another one. Are we live on YouTube right now?
Live on Roku, probably.
We're live on Roku?
Are those one and the same?
That was my mistake.
Are we in Istanbul? We're live in Istanbul?
Are we in Guam? Do you think they can watch us in Guam right now?
I hope so. If not, the people in Guam. What you Guam do?
I'm in Guam. Look, hey, it's Champ Week this week. Yep. Conference tournaments are going on. The West Coast Conference tournament is going on. So Gonzaga is going to be playing in their conference tournament. Over under Gonzaga wins their conference tournament.
I knew where you're going with that right when you said over under Gonzaga. And I don't over whatever it is.
Do what I want. And then we got 12:30 Devontae Bandu. Ever heard of him? Have. He joins the show at 12:30 today. And come on, post-game show last night. You were on it. How was that?
Man, it was fun. It was fun. I felt like Drake Toll sitting in his seat, but it's so easy doing it with Ashley Hodge. You just kind of pump fake, pass to Ashley, and let him talk Baylor basketball. But it was a blast, man. I mean, you were the first call in, and I was talking to Ashley. I was like, he sounds pretty polished. Like he's probably done some radio or some PA announcing before.
Did you know that the very first caller into a Baylor football postgame show, this is going to be a trivia question that they asked my grandkids, was me.
I remember that like it was yesterday. You said Jalen Petrie looks really good, guys. First game, you're like, they played Kansas. And you're like, no, Jalen Petrie looks pretty good. He's explosive. He's going to be fun to watch this season. Lo and behold, wins the up-tempo Heisman that year. So I think the other trivia, like if that's multiple choice, it's like Stephen from Virginia, T-Rex, Drake Toll. And you're like, wait, no, Drake Toll, he hosts the thing. It's not Drake Toll. It's got to be one of those other two. And then lo and behold,
that's how they lose Jeopardy. That's how they lose Jeopardy.
That's how you go down.
Baylor men's basketball last night on top of Oklahoma State, 81-70. Cade Cunningham, 24 points, 4 for 8 behind the arc. When Oklahoma State needed him late, they got him. Yeah. The dude was electric in the second half alone. Look, I'll say it. First half, Cade Cunningham, sell. Yep. I don't want him. 4 points. Second half, Cade Cunningham, I'm starting him on my NBA team.
You sort of got the feel that Cade Cunningham was going to find a way to get his, right? Even in the first half, he was still getting some looks, and Baylor did a really good job on him, but you had a feeling, hey, the darn is going to break. You notice I didn't say the other D word. The darn is going to break here at some point, but as a whole, Ashley made a great point last night. Baylor's not going to play a better individual player than Cade Cunningham the rest of their schedule. They're not going to see someone like Cade Cunningham in the tournament. And so to be able to effectively hold him to neutral in that first half, that's got to be really encouraging. Sure, he went off for 20 in the second half. Got to fix that. Some of that you can attribute to getting back into a rhythm of things defensively. Ashley said some communication stuff might have been off on their rotations and things of that nature. All beyond me, but all things considered, the fact they were able to hold him to 4 points in the first half has to be encouraging blueprint going forward for lesser scores in the tournament.
And how about Jonathan Chachua?
Yeah. Be Mark Vital, Davion Mitchell would sort of exclusively handle the duties of guarding Cade Cunningham, but it was really by committee last night. Sure, Vital and Davion Mitchell probably got the lion's share, but we saw every day. John out there on him did a great job. We saw Maceo T getting in there a couple times and got switched on to him. So in terms of what this Baylor team has defensively, a lot of these guys can defend even more than just Davion Mitchell and Mark Vital. So that's super encouraging to see at this point in the season after COVID.
Not just basketball last night, women's tennis against TCU at home. You know who we don't like? The
Horned Frogs. Riff-Raw, Rim.
Whoop, bop, Z-boop. Beep, bop, rippity, rop. Really? That's a new little wrinkle they threw in there. How about that?
Yeah, Chewbacca went to TCU.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Baylor Bigfoot went to Baylor. And Chewbacca went to TCU. Yep. Women's tennis against TCU. They were up 4-0. And you know what they do in that thing where like you're up 4-0 and they're like, hey, well, we kind of want to keep playing if that's okay with you guys. Yeah. They did that. So the final score was 4-3, but it was basically 4-0, I think. Actually, I don't remember. I could be completely wrong there. They won 4-3 though. So women's tennis beat TCU yesterday, which is always good. Men's tennis at number 12, Wake Forest, right? Number 12 is good at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is good.
Yep.
Men's tennis won it 4-3. Just nail biter, absolute nail biter in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Michael Woodson and the guys getting it done. Yeah, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That is a mouthful. But how about Michael Woodson and the guys getting it done, rebounding off a disappointing end to the indoor season? Outdoor season, we're out of the gate hot. Good to see them getting a quality win in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's hard to say. That's a lot on the tongue.
Softball at number 13, Louisiana in Lafayette. And you're like,
I know.
Softball team.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. I know Winston-Salem well. I know the city well.
Really?
Really?
Yes, my dad grew up there. My grandma lives just outside of there. And
True story?
True story. So I know the town of Winston-Salem pretty well.
So why is it North Carolina and not Wake Forest that is the team of choice for the Sims family?
North Carolina is the team of choice for the Sims family, but my dad's parents both went to Wake Forest, and then my dad went to North Carolina.
But, okay. Your dad went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So is it like a house divided then?
No, they're bigger. They're bigger UNC fans. They're bigger UNC donors than Wake Forest.
Interesting.
And they went to Wake Forest?
Yes.
There you go.
So, like, are you telling me if my kid goes to TCU that I'll be a bigger TCU donor than I am Baylor donor?
No, it would be like if you went to. It's like if you went to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a small little school like Houston.
That was good. Oh,
wait, what'd you say?
I said Cornell.
No. But like, it's like if you went to Houston and then your son goes to Texas, and then you're like, okay, Texas is like, the state school, right? I'm gonna just like Texas now because they're better at sports and all blah blah blah.
I could see the conflict of it, but
that was a bad example because you hate Texas. I know y'all both hate Texas, right? That's a bad example.
My dad went to Texas.
It's equivalent.
My dad went to Texas for his master's. Sorry, off topic. I apologize.
Also, though, think about Wake Forest, North Carolina compared to Houston. Like, it's two Power 5 schools in the same conference, Armstrong.
Yeah, but it's more like a fly on the – Wake Forest is the fly on North Carolina's windshield. That's kind of how the relationship is.
Wow.
And North Carolina just every now – oh, that's kind of annoying. All right, just turn on the windshield wiper and there it goes.
I would love to have your family on to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
Your brother.
No, we're still Wake Forest fans, just bigger North Carolina fans.
Gotcha. So does the name Alex Bachman mean anything to you?
No.
Okay.
Alex Bachman doesn't mean anything.
That's right. He was that composer from Vienna.
Oh, my God.
That's right.
He was a receiver from California that ended up going to Wake Forest, and we could maybe get him on the show. Anyway. Well, you had a lot of good things to say, Drake, about Baylor sports.
Cheers. Jack Wheeler says, good morning, fellas. It's a great post-win feeling, and it's still Matthew Meyer time. It's always Matthew Meyer time. Can't wait for Cade Cunningham to be a Houston Rocket next year so we don't have to play against him twice a year. Cade Cunningham's going very, very high in the draft. He is a very good basketball player. Scotty B. the Baylor King says, Cade Cunningham's weakness is turnovers. He did turn the ball over 5 times last night. He averages 4 turnovers this season. Still... what a great day for Baylor Athletics yesterday. Also, Baylor Nation, come to women's tennis tomorrow, 1 p.m. against number 2 Texas, who is their only loss of the year. Should be outdoors, and it's T-shirt give-out day. And Scotty says it was technically 4-1 for women's tennis yesterday before they extended the match out. Statman in Waco says, great to see the Baylor Bears win as new Big 12 conference champions last night. 20 team assists on 30 baskets. Butler, Teague, Meyer combined for 60 of Baylor's 81 and the 20th win of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, the cutting from this Baylor team was amazing. Like it reminded me of the movie scene in Kicking and Screaming where they ask him, I forget, it's one of the bench players, and he goes, those Italians, they just score. That's what it felt like with Maceo Teague cutting behind the basket. It was Mark Vital. Meyer was getting in the corner. There was so much movement going on without the ball, and that was the difference, I think, early on in the game for sure.
I think it's Dim Sun. that says that in the movie Kicking and Screaming. That movie, you cannot do some of the stuff they did nowadays. Softball. I already talked about softball, didn't I? Or is that where Armstrong got his Wake Forest rant?
Yeah, that you didn't talk about softball.
Softball at number 13, Louisiana. And you would think after a tough weekend where the team struggled that maybe it wouldn't go their way, playing against a team that came in number 9 in the preseason. Louisiana Lafayette's really good. They're in Louisiana. Softball says, Louisiana, Texarkana, banana, pajama.
Hannah Montana.
I don't care. Bears by 7. 8-1 final score. Baylor on top by a touchdown last night on the road. 8 runs. It's the first time Louisiana has allowed 8 runs this season. They only scored 1. Baylor trouncing the Lafayette Lady Ragin' Cajuns, if you will.
Ragin' Cajuns?
Did they think that through?
I don't know. I feel like you could put them together and they could be the Lady Raging Cajuns. Like Raging Cajuns kind of sounds cool. I don't know if it means anything, but it kind of sounds cool. Drake, I don't know if you're able to even talk about this because you're the PA announcer. I mean, how far is this softball team going to go?
I'm going to go with national champions.
I'm sold.
I'm going to go and lock that in.
I'm sold.
Last night, Gio Rodoni goes 7 innings, only allows 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walks, 4 strikeouts last night. Really good game from Rodoni, 109 pitches, total pitches. Nikki Dawson had 4 hits for Baylor. She went 4 for 5 last night. How about this? 1, 2, 3 hole? The 1 hole, Nikki Dawson, 4 hits in 5 at-bats. The 2 hole, Lou Gilbert, 3 hits in 5 at-bats.
Wow.
The 3 hole, Goose McGlon, 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Both of them were doubles. So you're collecting 9 hits out of your first 3 batters in the lineup. Gonna be tough to lose a game in a situation like that.
Yeah, that's probably going to be advantageous going forward, I would think. I'm not enormous on softball in terms of like my knowledge. I'm learning a lot based on what you're telling me. And not to say I'm not an enormous fan. I'd say my knowledge is still very much in its developmental stages. And someone told me the other day, you can pitch in like softball pitches are different when you throw underhand, correct? So like you can pitch essentially as many as like there's no pitch count for softball. Is that right? Like Gio Rodoni can throw 109 and throw like tomorrow and still throw another 100. That's enormous. That is a game changer.
She looked really good yesterday. I legitimately think if this team plays to their maximum potential, they really do have a shot to make a World Series run this year. They've got a lot of really good old talent. So those are the scores yesterday, breaking things down across Baylor. Today, happy Friday, folks. There's only one game. You think, holy cow, there's a weekend packed full of stuff. And there's only one game today. Well, it's Baylor baseball against Memphis in Waco, 6:30 p.m. I don't know if you've been outside, but it feels spectacular here
glorious. Today. It's absolutely it's baseball weather. It's baseball weather, and it's right on the river too. Like that stadium is so cool. It's so cool.
It is better. It's hard to think. 2 weeks ago, there was like a foot of snow and ice on the ground here.
I mean, it was like the end of the world.
And now it's 75 and sunny.
Grocery stores were empty. People couldn't drive. It was
power was gone.
Power was gone. It was like the equivalent of quarantine, whether you were sick or not. Like, and now we got 70 and sunny and some Baylor baseball with the Tigers coming to town.
Someone sent me a text today in our friend group chat that said, "Hey, if you guys want to meet at Ursa at yada yada o'clock, we're gonna go swimming and tan." Like what?
Wow. Wish I had a friend group chat. Wish I had
remember that. But think about that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Hey, we'll talk about that post show. Yeah, but think about like the fact that 2 weeks ago we were snowed under, and now people are hanging out at the pool, chilling out, max, relaxing on cool, and shooting some b-ball outside the school. Baylor baseball, Memphis tonight. Oh, guys, guess what I'm drinking today? Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Is that a new sound effect in the studio?
Matthew Meyer time.
Today, I am drinking Zios. Check this thing out, all right? Look at this. Here, I got a little... Ow. Give me a second. Sorry. I got a little Zios, okay?
Oh, interesting.
This is all natural, no sugar added, gluten-free, non-GMO, dairy-free, soy-free, vegan, nut-free. 1 gram of sugar is all it's got in it, right? And that's only because it's all natural sugar. I'm drinking it right here out of my little Aquafina water bottle. This is, it's Gatorade. It's replenishing, okay? It's got vitamin A, B3, B6, C, D6, D3, iron, zinc, essential electrolytes. It's got all that stuff.
Oh, wow. So it's like an electrolyte replenisher kind of like Pedialyte-esque?
No, yeah. It's like your Gatorade, but with no sugar. It's your Gatorade with no added sugar. So I we're going to try it on Monday. I'm going to bring it in for you guys. But Zios. Big fan already.
Sweet.
Big fan.
You're glowing.
Thank you.
Here,
I feel like I'm glowing.
I might need to get on that Zios with you.
I took like 4 or 5 sips and I was like, this is it. This is a new me.
You're like
better than the old me. I see colors.
Yeah.
Baylor baseball plays today, 6:30 in Waco. Tomorrow, get ready for this. Auctioneer time. Track, Longhorn Invitational. Equestrian, number 6, Oklahoma State.
Oh, I thought I was getting ready for like a list.
Yeah, equestrian, number 6, Oklahoma State.
Love it.
Softball against Tarleton State in Ruston, Louisiana. Oh. Hey, Armstrong?
Yes, I'm here, yes.
You know how they say nothing in life is free?
They do say that. Do you have a point?
Well, they're right.
I was working on something.
In Armstrong's minute, I think I said that the softball team's in Lafayette. Pretty sure maybe they're in Ruston. We're just gonna pat.
Kick it off the Ruston.
We'll roll.
We're gonna put blood on the door frame, and we're just gonna pass over that. Track of the Longhorn Invitational. Yeah. See what I did there? That was a neat little segue.
I do see what you did there. Yeah.
As a Baylor student too, I got bonus points right there. I just passed my math test. Right. Softball, Tarleton State tomorrow at noon. Women's tennis against Texas at home at 1 p.m. Baseball against Memphis at 2 p.m. Oh, you got to go to that. 2 p.m., 75 degrees, baseball at Baylor Ballpark. Oh.
Picturesque.
Gosh dang, we don't deserve this. We don't deserve this.
Wait, in that metaphor, are we the angel of death?
Armstrong just texted me. Your video is unbearable. It is. Absolutely unbearable.
I think you look good.
Armstrong, why did you text that? Why didn't you just say it on the show?
I'm trying to deal with technical glitches here while y'all are doing a show. I mean, you can just keep talking.
Okay. Baseball, Memphis, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Softball at Louisiana Tech in Ruston. Women's basketball at Kansas at 4 p.m. Acro and tumbling at Oregon at 5. Volleyball in Waco at 5 against Oklahoma. Baseball against Memphis at 6. Doubleheader. Soccer at TCU was canceled. He's guilty. I tell you, guilty. And then
guilty.
Sunday is men's basketball at home against 18 Texas Tech at 3 p.m. Equestrian. They play Fresno State, number 5 Fresno State at 9 a.m. in Burleson. Softball's at Louisiana Tech in Ruston. Women's tennis against Texas Tech in Waco. Baseball versus Memphis at noon. Oh, some Sunday baseball.
There it is, baby. A lot of college sports on Sunday, including FCS football.
So FCS football. Get up, go to church at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Go watch Baylor baseball at noon. Softball, Tarleton State at 1:30. And then men's tennis in Waco against number 21 Arizona State. Men's tennis is kind of going off right now.
Yeah, especially the way they rebounded from the indoor season. Like that's not rebounded, but the way they were able to gather themselves after a disappointing end with the indoor championship. I mean, they're rolling right now, baby. They're rolling. They're bringing that love.
They're playing anybody and everybody. They said, I don't care who you are. We're going to play you, and we're going to beat you. So we're going to win.
The smoke is, for a limited time, 100% free. Wholesale smoke, 100%.
Where there's a smoke,
there's David and Craig.
There's a fire. I'm Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims running production. When we come back, we're talking more Baylor men's basketball. Later on in the show, 12:05, Chris Level, the color analyst for Texas Tech, joins us. 12:30, Devontae Bandu hops on the show as well. We'll be right back after this break. You're watching Uptempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims. That's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Uptempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den remote. At least I am. You guys are not. You guys are in the actual Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Marshall Burns says, wait until we unleash Patterson. Yeah. We're going to stick the world. Bears over Tech by 10. All right, let's get into that a little bit. We haven't talked about that quite yet. Baylor, Texas Tech on Sunday. What are we thinking for that one? We got a Baylor win coming up for us?
I think it's got to be a Baylor win. The biggest thing that I'm going to be watching in that game is roster management. On one hand, you're like, okay, guys, get some rest before the Big 12 tournament. There's going to be a long run with that, as well as the NCAA tournament. On the flip side, you're thinking, okay, you had about 20 days to rest. You need to get your legs back underneath you. So there's a lot of moving parts here, and I'm really interested to see how Scott Drew handles it. In my mind, if there was a time to rest guys, it would have been last night against Oklahoma State and let them get their legs back under them after they won the Big 12 title, to be able to play all the seniors as many minutes as they wanted on senior night. I think senior night, you got to empty the clip, man. I said it last night. I think senior night, you have to just go balls to the walls, try and finish this thing the right way. And send these seniors out the right way. Last game in Ferrell, probably for Jared Butler, Maceo Teague, for a lot of these guys, it'll be their last time in a Baylor uniform at home. I want to see them absolutely, run through the tape.
Wow. So Mark Patterson starts on Sunday for you.
Mark Patterson starts on Sunday for me, and he gets buckets. He's a walking triple-double. Mark Patterson is actually an amazing athlete. He's such a good athlete. Like, not just basketball. I think he's like a 40.
That's the question. Maybe ponder this. Where's Baylor's kryptonite? Yeah. If Baylor was to lose a game this season, when would it be, against who, and what would that look like? And I think, I'm worried. There is a way that Baylor could lose in the Sweet 16 if they meet up with a Purdue. Like Baylor-Purdue in the Sweet 16 kind of worries me. If you got a team that may try to slow things down a little bit, play big inside, I'm worried by that.
Yeah.
Baylor against Iowa in the Elite Eight. That worries me.
Yeah.
That worries me. Baylor and Michigan in the Final Four, games before the national championship that the Bears could see. I am worried by those.
Yeah, and I think the complement to that would just be really tough for Baylor is if they have a team that has a big as well as a really good perimeter offense. And they have some shooters, right? If there's Luka Garza and Iowa starts to develop a stroke from deep, that could be trouble for Baylor, because I think at that point, I feel comfortable if Baylor just has one big they have to stop. I think Baylor is maturing enough and figuring it out enough defensively to be able to combat that. I think we saw last night, they have a lot of guys by committee that can do a lot of things, like Mark Vital's physicality is going to be huge, Chama Chachua with the size. So I feel better if it's just one big. If it's a big and some shooters, that I think would be the ultimate kryptonite for Baylor. And I'm with you. Purdue and Iowa. Iowa doesn't worry me quite as much just because I think Luka Garza is the only guy on that team that can do anything for that program. But in March, teams just get streaky. Some teams get hot from beyond the arc. So I guess that's why they call it the madness. All things considered, though, I'm with you. I think a big and a shooting team is really what could do Baylor in.
That's what it is. I mean, March is mad right now. Southern Illinois and Loyola Chicago are on the TV right here. I'm just checking that thing out. Have K.N. Candle says we might also have a hard time against teams with multiple superstars. Gonzaga, Drew Timme, Suggs. I mean, those guys they speak for themselves right now as well as they're playing. We've handled excellent bigs somehow, she says, and I think that's true. Yep. That is true.
It's not McCormick.
Yeah, I that's a good point too, which I don't even think he's the best big that Baylor's going to see for sure when you get in tournament play. Yeah. That could be a kryptonite. And I think that kind of goes into a little bit before we even get too far ahead of ourselves. What is Baylor's strategy? How do they attack the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think if I'm Scott Drew, I think he's probably just going to let his guys play. I don't think you probably bridle this horse too much. You just let these guys run, get a mojo, get the feeling of what it's like to be in tournament mode before the actual tournament itself. So I think with the Big 12 tournament, it'll be business as usual. Now, as a fan and someone who doesn't make as much money as Scott Drew to talk about basketball, in my mind, I'm thinking the Big 12 tournament doesn't matter, right? I know as a competitor, you want it. You want to win the regular season and the tournament. But really, I mean, what do you gain out of winning the Big 12 tournament? I mean, you win the regular season, so you kind of have bragging rights on the Big 12. Your ultimate goal is to go to the Final Four and win the whole thing. So if it helps you to play the Big 12 tournament as is, then awesome, go for it, go business as usual, get the mojo, and I think that's what they'll do. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, maybe you get out to an early, you play the first two rounds as hard as you can, and maybe you reassess after that. Like if Jared Butler's feeling like, hey, coach, my legs are kind of dead, I want to make sure I get enough rejuvenation for him going into March. So I think there's a lot of things to consider. I think Scott Drew will just keep it business as usual and let these horses run. But if it's me, I reassess after the second game.
You think Jared Butler would ever say that?
No shot, but I think they got to really watch his minutes. Like with a pitcher or with any running back, you count carries, you count pitches, and you just kind of do the math, right? Like we see, this isn't the same thing at all, but running backs, they're on a carry count. So I mean, a couple of years, you see guys like DeMarco Murray, they're out of the league. That's really a stretch for what the point I'm trying to make. But all things considered, I think you got to keep Jared Butler on sort of a minutes watch, if you will. I don't know if you restrict his minutes, but I think you keep a pulse on it because he's your guy that's going to be the difference in March. Like, obviously, there's so many weapons, but for this team to play to the potential and to achieve their goals, they need Jared Butler at 115%.
So the way that the bracket shakes up and looks right now, Baylor's got a first-round bye. Okay. They're going to play – likely you're going to end up seeing a – TCU, yeah, you're either going to see TCU or Kansas State in round one, in round two. It'll be the quarterfinal. So they win that, they go to the semifinal, and then it's still kind of up in the air where the seeding is going to fall and who they're going to play there. But say that they go to the quarterfinal, the semifinal, end up playing, I don't know, Texas, right? I mean, do you call off the dogs for the I mean, you got 2 games left to be Big 12 tournament champions and regular season champions. I don't see why you don't just play this thing out. Like, throw everything you got. Throw the kitchen sink in there. Go win a Big 12 title in the tournament and in the regular season.
Yeah, I think when you say it like that, I'm sort of having second thoughts on my opinion. From a load management standpoint, I'm like, okay, we want to play for March, but if it's really 2 games, because what's the turnaround time between the end of the Big 12 tournament and March Madness? Do we know? The Big 12 tournament ends on March 13th. And I think the NCAA tournament begins somewhere around like the 18th or something like that. Yeah. I think it's like a pretty quick turnaround. So Still 5 days to get your body right, but I think you really just have to take into account and give a really honest assessment of where these guys at. So maybe it's not your whole starting 5 that you're giving restrictions to, but if a guy like Mark Vito, who takes such a pounding and plays so physical and does so much of that dirty work, if he's starting to feel it at the end of that tournament, I'm saying, okay, Mark, maybe we'll limit your minutes a little more, maybe everyday John, if his legs are starting to wear on him. A lot of these bigs is really who I'm looking at a little more so to say, hey, we really need you later in this season as opposed to right now. So I'm with you. As a competitor, I think if there's 2 games left, I don't think they'll call off the dogs. I really don't see Scott Drew or this team, that being their culture or their character. From my standpoint, just from a black and white standpoint, I think logistically it would do them a service to at least consider that as they go through this tournament.
Maybe so. I mean, if you're the coach, you're load managing and you're trying to put your best guys in situations where they can words are hard. You're trying to put your guys in their best situation where they can succeed, not just in the Big 12 tournament, but in the NCAA tournament. My question then becomes, are you overlooking the Big 12 tournament into the NCAA tournament if you are load managing for late games or games that are in the Big 12 tournament? I just don't see the competitor that Scott Drew is, the competitors that these athletes are, where they would ever say like, we should probably slack a little. We can rest a little bit before the big dance.
Yeah, there's no shot, especially if they end up playing Kansas. Like if Kansas is the team they're playing, I don't think there will be even. Let me digress. There won't be any foot off the gas at all for any team, especially for Kansas. It's going to be extremely personal, and they want to avenge that win. I think it'd be crucial, I think, even for psyche, like to avenge your one loss on the season before the tournament could do a lot for this team's confidence. So if it's Kansas, it'll be extremely personal, but regardless, I think you're right. I don't think they'll call off the dogs, even though I think maybe it would be in their best interest to at least assess that or consider that as they move on throughout this tournament. But I think you play for banners, right? Like that's sort of the thing that has been the next thing for Baylor, right? Like win the Big 12 tournament, win the Big 12 regular season title, and then go hang some banners with some NCAA logos on them.
I mean, if Baylor gets a shot at Kansas in the Big 12 championship, which would be absolutely huge, do you think they got enough juice in the tank? Do you think that's the game where they say, all right, we're going to turn it up and we're going to go win?
I think they have to. Don't you? I mean, that would just be such a personal thing with Bill Self having run the Big 12 for however long. Everything with, Ashley mentioned their sanctions last night being a thing that I'm sure doesn't sit well with a lot of different coaches throughout the Big 12. So to avenge that one loss, like they remember everything that happened at Fog Allen, as I'm sure the rest of Baylor Nation does as well. So it's going to be, I think, a very fresh taste in their mouth, and they're going to want to go ahead and put that thing to rest before they get back here. Because you have to think that would just be a lot for their psyche. I mean, these college kids having just lost a game when before that you're unbeatable prior to COVID, and then you lose at Fog Allen to a team that you beat by, 11, 13, or was it 8? I think it was 8 because he hit a 3 at the end. That's what it was he covered. But all things considered, I think Kansas is where they really go, hey, blood in the water, let's go.
What do you think Baylor ends up losing then in the Big 12 tournament, in the semifinal, or even in the championship game? What taste does that put in your mouth going into March Madness?
Yeah, I think there's – I want to talk about this with you because I think there's 2 trains of thought, right? One is, okay, now they're back into a rhythm. Now the mojo's back. We talked about it before. Is Baylor 100% back? They don't look like it just yet. They're still playing really well, but they're not 100% back. So on one end, it's like, hey, if you win the tournament, awesome. You're in a roll. You got your mojo. Baylor's back in action. On the other hand, if you lose another game in the Big 12 tournament that I don't think any of us expect them to lose, at that point, the sense of urgency becomes so much more high for the NCAA tournament to say, okay, this is where we messed up. We can correct it. Kind of what we saw with Kansas before the West Virginia game. Took a step back, reevaluated, reassessed, got back right, and had just a different energy, it seemed like, against West Virginia. So I think there's probably 2 sides to that coin. I would like to see them play well the rest of the way if they're able to keep everybody healthy and have the load management be what it should be. So all things considered, I want to see Baylor put the pedal to the metal, get guys rest that needs rest, but as a whole, get the mojo back and get back to 100%. Because they've had 20 days. What do you think about that, though, Drake? I mean, you being the beat writer, what's your assessment of the way that this load should be managed going forward, and what a loss in the tournament would mean, or a loss in the Big 12 tournament, I should say, would mean for this team as they continue forward?
I say go do it. Think about this. You've got, regular season finale, right? That's 1 game. Big 12 tournament, you got a maximum of 3 games. That's 4. Then you got round of 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, natty. 10 games left. Your last 10. Okay, you got a shot at 10 more games. 30-1 is the max. You want to go 30-1 this season, right? I say you let the boys play those 10. Let the boys play those 10 at their maximum potential. Go out there, win the Big 12 tournament, and go into March Madness with that momentum on your back and let that carry you all the way.
On the flip side, if a guy like Jared Butler or Mark Vital says, Coach, my legs are killing me. Like, I don't think either of those guys would ever go out and say that publicly, but maybe the trainer goes and says, hey, Scott, these guys are cashed, man. What, we got to manage this. At that point, what do you do if you're Scott Drew? I know Jared Butler's in your ear saying, hey, Coach, I want to play. I'm good. Let me go. I mean, at that point, if you're Scott Drew, are you not kind of between a rock and a hard place at that point? It's the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament. It's a championship game, Alex. I mean, what do you do at that point when your trainer's saying Mark Vital needs rest, his legs are cashed, but you have let's just say you have West Virginia right before the Big 12 title?
I mean, then yeah, I think you have to load manage and rest as you need to in situations like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it comes to that. Then I think you address it when it happens. But I think right now where they're sitting, you may not. I don't think you'll see it. I think these guys are juiced. They had a good bit of rest coming in because the COVID break, while the COVID break sucked, they didn't get a lot of practice time. They did they came in more fresh. And I say that, yeah, they're out of shape, but I think they're getting into shape. And once they're in shape, it'll be an immovable force. But I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell. J.D., when we come back, we got SicEm Pick'em. Talk SicEm Pick'em. And today, 2-minute drill. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims. That's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back into Up Tempo, baby. Happy Friday, everybody.
Hey, Drake, before we went to break there, my mic was hot, and I got a call from Brian Etheridge saying, hey, your mic is hot. And I was like, okay, great, good to know. I was thinking back, what did I say? I asked Armstrong a question. I said, hey, Armstrong, do you like the artist Drake? And so for everybody that was listening to the mic that was hot, I could only assume they thought I asked the question, hey, do you like Drake?
Hey, we were talking about you behind your back.
So, because Drake dropped 3 new songs last night, and they were all bangers, as to be expected. But just to clear the radio waves really quick, to give you any other insight, Armstrong said, I don't really know the artist Drake. So if we were talking about you, he would say, yes, I like Drake.
Yeah, I like Drake.
Yeah.
But the artist Drake, I just don't listen to artists.
Yeah, that's fair.
Drake.
Wow. And I don't know most of the Music Mondays. So
did you say going into it? Did you say the artist, or did you just say, "Hey, Armstrong, do you like Drake?"
I said the artist. I think I said the artist.
I think he did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So the folks at home should not be confused.
No, and we all like you.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Drake's work last night. I'm a fan of your work every day. We're all good, but just wanted to clear the air for anyone that heard the hot mic there.
Does music release on Friday? Is that like a thing?
I think a lot of the big artists will drop stuff like Thursday at midnight, so it's like a Friday drop. I think.
Oh, okay.
I've never actually put out music.
I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
You've never put out music?
Actually, that's a lie. I have 1 rap song on SoundCloud.
Oh, is that
gotta find
that's
it?
True. It's true
is
story.
That real?
True story. Me and my roommate put out a song during our February break, long weekend. We just had the place to ourselves. Made a song.
Wow.
True story.
I
Pickell today. Do you have a song on Spotify, Armstrong?
Yeah, but
you really?
I'm gonna keep it hidden.
It's on Spotify?
Spotify, baby.
That's way more legit than SoundCloud.
That is.
What's your artist name?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Is it like?
Do you have like a special artist name?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna tell you.
What's the guy in Parks and Rec? Ron Swanson, Duke. What's his name?
Duke Silver.
Duke Silver. Is that like you? Are you like Duke Silver?
Yeah, Duke Silver.
Actually, though.
Wait a second.
What kind of music?
I just found Armstrong's public Spotify.
It's joke music, and there's no singing, so it's not like embarrassing.
Oh. Huh.
But I'm still not going to tell you.
Type it on Spotify.
Armstrong, you're a Turnpike Troubadour fan?
I am a Turnpike Troubadours fan, yes.
Oh my gosh.
You're currently surfing my public Spotify playlist?
I am. Josh Abbott, Midland, you Armstrong, you dirty dog.
Wait.
My Country Volume 2?
Oh, Volume 2. I haven't looked at that in ages.
Chris Stapleton, William.
I'm on to Volume 5 right now.
Oh, really? Okay, that's my next question was how many volumes. That's funny.
Once I get tired of that like those country songs, then I just make a whole new playlist.
Oh, no
wow. Way. Christian Workout. This is good.
Workout. I don't know if that's mine.
This is good. I like this. I am Christian Rap. Come on, Armstrong. I didn't know you.
What's all those?
There's a Christmas one down here.
I have a lot. I have some that I've like specifically like made to be public, right? I think I have a playlist called The Office that is like has a couple likes.
Like the Music Monday?
I have a Texas country playlist I'm pretty proud of. But
wow.
I love that.
I like to make Spotify playlists. I think I have like 350 of them.
No way.
Not all public, obviously.
What's your most popular public playlist?
The Office. I mean, it's not like super popular, but
yeah, but 65 followers.
65 followers.
That's nice.
Kent State. Drake is sort of the automatic bet for us. They're 24-3, minus 6.5. Tournament quarter, the Mountain Valley Conference quarterfinal against Northern Iowa. I believe it's Mountain Valley. I like that. I think they're probably a good bet to cover 6.5. What else we got on here? Those are some of my early ones. Do you have any others you like right off the bat?
I think it's the Mississippi Valley, but I still love you.
Mississippi Valley.
I like Liberty minus 10 today. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm pretty confident in Liberty minus 10 against Stetson. Liberty's solid. Montana State on a money line. They're minus 5. I think the money line is pretty safe there. Just tack on to a parlay. Eastern Washington minus 12. It's tough for me. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I'm probably going to stay off of that. Dayton VCU. VCU minus 3.5. I like a VCU money line there. I think VCU does take out Dayton in the quarterfinal today of the Atlantic 10 tournament.
Interesting.
Monmouth minus 5, I think is a pretty safe bet. I like that one today. I'm pretty on board with that against Rider. Northern Illinois, Central Michigan. I love Central Michigan minus 5.5. I think it's one of my locks of the day today. The Citadel. I've got them plus 3 all the way. I think Citadel may win that one outright in the first round of the SoCon Championship. I love the Citadel today. So does Simon. Oh, a lot of sprinkle.
Okay.
A lot of sprinkle. Davidson minus 5.5. I like a Davidson money line there. Drake. Our boys, Drake, Northern Iowa, 6.5 point favorites. I'm hammering 6.5 for Drake today. Miami, Boston College, Miami by 4. I like Miami on a money line here, actually. I think Miami I think they recollect themselves and they end up winning this one today. Let's see what else we got here. Georgia Southern, Arkansas State. I like Georgia Southern plus 1.5. Not on the road. I don't like Arkansas State, so I like Georgia Southern conversely. South Alabama, UL Monroe. South Alabama minus 5 is another lock of the day. It's one of my top 3 locks of the day. I love South Alabama minus 5. Canisius and Siena. I don't know and I don't care. But if I had to care, give me Canisius plus 6 for the heck of it.
How about Grand Canyon minus 9? Utah Valley coming to town.
Utah Valley's pretty solid too. Utah Valley's pretty solid. Go with the heart.
Do it for Drew. Do it for Loeb. Do it for Loeb Country.
Loeb Country.
Which is different than here. It's you got the snouts for the Lopes as opposed to the Longhorn deal. Wake Forest plus 8.5 against Georgia Tech. What do you think about that one? Wake Forest, but plus 8.5, or you like Georgia Tech to cover that 8.5? Minus 8.5.
Give me Georgia Tech minus 8.5.
Wake Forest is pretty decent against Wake Forest is horrific this year, but they're really good against the spread in the ACC for whatever reason. Like the second best team, I think, behind Florida State against conference games. Belmont minus 7.5. Like that?
Yep.
In the semifinal, Jacksonville State coming to town?
Yep. Love Belmont minus 7.5. I've been a big fan of that conference.
LMU plus 1.5 against San Francisco. I think they cover that. I think they cover that.
Mercer minus 7.5. Arkansas Pine Bluff minus 10. I don't like that. I don't really love it.
Okay.
I like plus 10 Mississippi Valley State at home. Mississippi Valley State's Pine Bluff's bad. Mississippi Valley State's bad, but I think Pine Bluff's not. They may win, but they're not bad. Like plus 10 is pretty safe there. UC Santa Barbara against Cal Poly. I like UC Santa Barbara minus 20. I do.
Minus 20.
Yep.
Those numbers scare me so. I never know what to do with those numbers when it's like over 15, and I've never watched either of those teams. I'm like, well, I guess I could just get my heart broken again. I guess I'll do it.
Might as well just lose some money.
Yeah,
hey,
I'm ready to get hurt again.
I'm ready to get hurt again. Colorado State on the money lines, an okay pick tonight. Cal Bap and Seattle. I like Cal Bap.
Yeah.
Mo State and Valpo. I like Missouri State minus 7 for sure. It's not a lot. Kind of lock of the day. I like that one a lot. App State, University of Arkansas, Little Rock.
How close? How close do you pay attention to these Arkansas teams? Like, is there a sense of more of a allegiance to follow? It's the natural state, right?
Right.
Natural state. Okay.
I know them vaguely. I would take App State in this one though. UALR's not great. They haven't been great since their head coach was.
Say that again.
They haven't been great since their head coach was. No, Chris Beard. Great. They
haven't been really great in here though since Scott.
And give me Morehead State on the money line too. They're 1.5 point favorites.
Interesting. All right, we're back and forth on that one.
Today's game. It is 2-minute drill. 2 minutes on the clock. All right, boys. Everybody ready?
Bring it.
Let's see what we got here. Today's theme, there are 15 names. I want you to name their home states.
Okay.
These are famous people, okay?
Yep.
So the goal of this game is to name the home state of these famous people.
We're one out of 50 already.
Does everybody have pen and paper?
1 in 50 chance. Yeah, we're locked. We've got the notes app here.
Okay. And
wait.
Music?
What are we?
15's a lot.
What's the question again?
So
Sorry.
he's giving us names of people. We have to guess their home state.
Got it.
Home state is in the
Ready?
state, as in the state they were born, or the state that they
Born.
claim? Born. Okay.
Born.
Yep.
All right. Are we ready, Armstrong? The music?
Music will come here in a sec, but we're ready to go.
You ready to play? And action. Number 1, Willie Nelson.
Golly.
Number 2, Johnny Cash. Number 3, Tom Hanks.
Oh, gosh.
Number 4, Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide, but he was born in this state. Number 5, Barack Obama. Number 6, Bill Murray. Bill Murray is very tied to this town in the state he was born. Number 7, Jimmy Carter. James Carter. Number 8, George Clooney. This is a tough one. Number 9, Kim Mulkey. Easy one. That was an easy one. Number 10, Mark Wahlberg. Think about the town that Mark Wahlberg loves.
Oh, yeah.
Number 11, Jerry Seinfeld. Think about where the show was. Number 12, LeBron James.
He's international, isn't he?
No. 13, Carrie Underwood.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I think I know.
14, Miley Cyrus.
I do not know these at all.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I don't know if I do or not. We're going to find out.
14, Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
15, Joseph Robinette Biden. And time. That's 2 minutes. How do we think? How do we feel?
Where the
how do we
heck
feel?
is Joe Biden? Okay.
Where is
I would say I probably shot
Miley Cyrus?
at least 30% from the field.
Oh, okay. Armstrong?
No, I'm gonna say I got like 4 or 5.
Really?
That's
wow,
about 30%.
I would say I got 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Number 1, Willie Nelson.
I said Texas. Where'd you say, Armstrong?
I did say Texas.
You said Texas?
He is from Texas.
Okay, we're on the board,
done.
baby.
Well
Perfect
done.
season still intact, baby. Here we go, Armstrong.
Number 2, Johnny Cash.
Give me Tennessee.
I had Georgia.
He is from Arkansas.
Oh.
Johnny Cash is from Arkansas.
Just like
Kingsland.
that. That's going to hurt us with the
Yep.
committee. Perfect season gone.
Number 3, Tom Hanks.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Armstrong?
I'm trying to think right now.
I said Forrest Gump's from Alabama. So I said Alabama.
South Carolina.
He is from California. California,
Okay,
Tom
I
Hanks.
should have guessed that.
Number 4, Mr. Worldwide Pitbull.
Miami, Florida.
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 There we go.
Number 5, Barack Obama.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Nice, Hawaii. Number 6, Bill Murray.
I didn't know, so I put Pennsylvania.
I'm changing my answer to
Okay.
Indiana. I had California, but I'm saying Indiana.
It is Illinois. Bill Murray, Cubs fan. Chicago. Yep. Got to put two and two together.
I
Chicago.
knew that.
Yep. Number 7, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I should have known that. I wasn't sure on
'cause
this
I know.
one. You know?
Oh, I think I know.
I'm changing my answer again. You say I don't think I have it right. I'll tell you what I had. I had Georgia.
I had Georgia. I think.
Oh, really?
It is Georgia.
Okay, there we go. Hey,
It is Georgia. Jimmy Carter. Live and breathe it. George Clooney.
I said Delaware.
I said Massachusetts.
That's the toughest one on here. Kentucky.
I don't think it's
Kentucky.
Okay.
Yep. 9, Kim Mulkey.
Texas.
Louisiana.
Oh, no, yeah, you're
Louisiana.
right. Dang it, you're so right.
Louisiana. Number 10, Mark Wahlberg.
Massachusetts.
11, Jerry Seinfeld.
New York.
I can't take New York because I didn't have anything written. I'm going to say, I have no idea.
New York state of mind. Maine. New York, baby. New York. LeBron James.
Ohio.
Question mark.
Ohio. Carrie Underwood.
Tennessee? Question mark.
Tennessee.
Oklahoma.
Oh no!
Really?
That was easy. Yeah. American Idol. Miley Cyrus.
I said she's Tennessee.
That is Tennessee.
Okay.
That is Tennessee. And then Joseph R. Biden.
Do you know this one, Armstrong?
I think it's Pennsylvania.
I said Connecticut.
Scranton, Pennsylvania. I think you guys tied. I think that one was the one.
I didn't know he was from Scranton because people were trolling him during the election, saying, "Bro, that's a fictional town."
Yeah,
I went to school with a lot of people from Scranton. It's like actually 2 hours from Ithaca.
Wow,
it's definitely a real place.
Oh, wow. I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Smith. When we come back, Chris Level, the color analyst for Texas Tech, joins the show. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims. That's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
MP Electric has developed a quality-oriented electrical contracting service in more than 20 years in the industry. Led by President Mark Perry, our electricians go through a 5-year apprenticeship program, are licensed by the state of Texas, and getting continuous education annually upon renewal. In great part, the success of MP Electric lies with its management and professional expertise of its employees. All of our employees share a dedication to quality and commitment to serving the needs of our customers. For new construction and remodels, parking lot, lighting and surge protection, landscape lights, security lights, troubleshooting and repairs. For industrial manufacturing, food and beverage, paper and publishing, heavy industry, cement and rock crushing plants, water distribution plants, and utilities. For 20 years, MP Electric has serviced industrial, commercial, and residential products. We do service right. MP Electric Inc. at 1890 Galaxy Road, Waco. MPElectricUSA.com.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
And welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den remote. How about it? Chris Level, the color analyst for Texas Tech men's basketball, joining the show once again. Happy Friday, everybody. We're prefacing Baylor's game on Sunday against Texas Tech in Waco and recapping Baylor's game against Oklahoma State last night. Chris, thanks for coming on today, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Glad to be on here. I was trying to figure out this Skype deal, man. I apologize for my tardiness there.
Oh, don't worry about it. Look, we have been absolutely – so the snowstorm hits and throws everything for a loop. We had to learn to go remote, which we were completely thrown for a loop for. And so we prepared, okay, that was a once in 100-year deal. Just in case it happens again, we're going to prepare for it and buy a bunch of equipment. Well, here we are a week later, disease-ridden, so we go remote again, and we're trying to figure it out as much as we can. But, hey, at least, look, I can hear you, and that alone is a miracle in itself.
Yeah, very, very nice, man. Yeah, we're all dealing with all of these once-in-a-lifetime deals. I feel like they're throwing us at us quite often here. So I'm ready for these once-in-a-lifetime deals to be over with. Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. The new normal is just going to last forever, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Well, Chris, here kind of where I want to start. A certain Texas Tech student manager took a charge in a basketball game, and that was all over social media last night. Walk me through what exactly happened.
Yeah. I guess I got wind of that maybe Wednesday that was a possibility, and I was kind of like, what? I mean, they did not want that really out there. I think there's a fine line of trying to keep a promise to a kid that you'd made and not show up the opponent, not make too big a deal out of it. You need the game to go the right way. In other words, to be able to put him in. And so there was a lot of things that needed to fall into place last night for Ty Larson. Ty came here 2 years ago and played junior college ball and wants to be a coach and all these things. And I guess one of the things that Beer told him when he got here was, hey man, if you come here and you do a really good job, don't be surprised if I put you in there in the game on senior night if you've done a good job and if the situation. And so I think everybody forgot about it and all those things. And then lo and behold, compliance gets involved about a week ago. They start doing all the things that he needs to do to check all the boxes and did all the medical stuff, got the, make sure he's okay and can compete and make sure it's all on the up and all that. And they get a uniform ready. And anyway, long story short, yeah, we kept thinking, no way he's actually going to put him in. Just no way. And Iowa State hung in that game for a while. And then I'm like, okay, well, you're up about 25 points. I mean, if he's not putting him in now, it was never going to happen. But sure enough, I mean, it's just, typical fashion, he comes in and takes a charge. I mean, it's like, because if you're writing that script, hey, he comes in and hits a three. Nobody writes, he's coming in to take a charge. But that's what happened. And it was a legit charge. He stood there and his feet were set. And he took it.
I couldn't believe it. Like you said, you're expecting him to knock down a three and the crowd goes wild, but it almost seemed fitting now reading his backstory that it was a charge of all things that he ended up taking on the floor for Texas Tech. That was awesome. I loved seeing that, and just one of the good news stories out of college basketball. And another good news story in general is this Texas Tech team and what they've done now down the stretch, trying to regain their footing. You know, we've seen them play really, really well at times this season. They held that 7 spot for a bit in conference play, and now they kind of control their own destiny with moving up, even a shot to move their way maybe into the 4 spot in the standings going into the Big 12 tournament. With what you see right now in this Tech team, kind of give me your rundown on where they are lately as compared to how you saw them maybe when they knocked off Texas earlier this year in that crazy game.
Yeah, you know, I think they've had a hard time finding their rhythm like everybody else. I think you know, they've been, and it's been different because some of the schools, I mean, obviously you guys were dealing with the situation in Waco where Baylor couldn't practice or play. Well, Texas Tech was dealing with, they were ready to play, but the weather or COVID issues from other schools like it stopped it. So so you couldn't get any kind of rhythm or growth with your team. Yeah, I think that this 3-game winning streak that they're on right now was good for them, good timing. You know, everybody, you know, is dealing with certain things, but this team is maybe playing their best right now. We'll see. But they're flawed a bit. They struggle to score at times. They struggle to defend at times. And other times they put it together. So, yeah, I mean, I think that they just needed to play games like everybody. And, you know, when you had you know, these gaps in the schedule, it's tough to grow as a team because practice or sitting at home just doesn't do you any good. And so Kyler Edwards probably playing his best basketball of the season. Mac McClung's still doing his thing. Terrence Shannon appears to be on the right side of the ankle injury. Marcus Santos Silva's probably playing his best, maybe right now our most consistent. So we'll see. I mean, as you know, the league is loaded, and there's a lot of good teams in here, so there's no gimmies.
I want to, looking at Mac McClung and what he's done this season. You know, we talked about this the first time these two teams squared off in Lubbock. Has he been everything that Texas Tech expected and more? Has he been as good as advertised with what this team has asked for him?
Yeah, I think probably better. I kind of thought he would be something better than a role player here. I didn't expect him to be knocking down game winners and being in a situation where, you know, he was kind of the go-to guy offensively. And I think he's been that. And I think that this team has absolutely needed it because if he doesn't, and he's a volume shooter, he's going to put up a lot of shots. Sometimes when they're all going in, look out. Sometimes when they're not, it's a bit of a struggle to watch. But then again, nobody else is stepping up and taking those shots and creating looks for others. But I think he's been better than advertised. I think he's much better defensively now than he was earlier on in the season. And that was kind of the knock on Mac was that, you know, he's not going to guard this and that, but he's bought in, and it's been fun to watch. He still turns it over on occasion a bit too much, but to answer your question, Drake, I would say he's been much better than we would have thought coming in here.
With this Tech team, too, I mean, I'm looking up and down the schedule, and their losses, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Kansas again, Oklahoma State again. I mean, they're one of those teams that has yet to trip up like Oklahoma fell to Kansas State. You know, it seems like Texas Tech is in these games tightly contested, even if they do end up losing. It's just the conference is so deep this year that you're going to end up having really good teams lose 7 or 8 games. Does that take away from Texas Tech's ability to make a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 this season?
Well, and you know, the way this thing sets up, obviously in Waco on Sunday, you're going to face maybe the 2 or the 3 seed in Kansas City on Thursday, depending on how the seeds fall out. So you're going to go into the tournament. You're not going to have a bad loss. If you lose either one of the next 2, it's not going to be considered a bad loss. And I think Chris has been frustrated that they can't figure out a way to win some of the close ones. But that's what they were able to do in their Final Four year when they went to the national title game, is they were winning all of the close ones, and then they get to the tournament, they just started rolling everybody. And but it's its ability to win close games. But I think in a way it helps your ability to get into the Sweet 16 or further because you've been in this grind, and it's not a shock to your system. You understand you got to play in a variety of different ways. You've seen skilled guards. You've seen really good bigs. You've seen up-tempo. You've seen the grind it out. You see a little bit of everything in this league, and I think it the Big Ten probably gets the most credit for being the best team or best conference in the country, and I understand it. They're going to have 2 1 seeds more than likely in Illinois and Michigan, and Iowa and Ohio State. There's a lot of good basketball being played in that league, but I don't think the Big 12 has necessarily gotten as much credit as it deserves. But I think it only will help you come March.
Turning your attention a bit to Sunday's game between Baylor and Texas Tech, I want to know, when you think back to that Texas Tech national championship run all the way to the big game, Scott Drew and Chris Beard are not that far off from one another when it comes to scheme. These two teams play very similarly, and we've seen a lot of really good basketball between these two coaches. Is there anything in this Baylor squad this year that is reminiscent of that Tech team that went all the way?
Well, I think it's the ability to, what Baylor has this year, and I think what Texas Tech had 2 years ago, and what the good teams have is they have a big margin for error. And what I mean by that is you're not reliant on like the one guy or just the two guys, and that's the only way we can get that's our only path to victory. Because there's been some times with Baylor, okay, we know what Butler does. You know what T can do. Sometimes it's Mitchell. Sometimes it's Flagler. So late in the last 2 games, sometimes it's been Meyer. And those are – and so, it wasn't always Culver. It was maybe Brandon Francis. It was Matt Mooney. It was Tariq Owens. It was, Deshaun Corprew. I mean, on and on it went. And that's – we know Butler's probably the best player. Everybody would say that. That year it was Culver was clearly the best player. He was a lottery pick. But it was the ability to kind of other guys stepped up and played really good basketball. And I think that's what ultimately. But again, you have the ability that year, 2 years ago, and then with this Baylor team, you can play in a variety of different styles. You want to run, you want to slow it down, you want to get into a game on the glass, you want to make me shoot it from the outside and beat you that way. You want me to pound. I mean, there's a variety of different ways that these really good teams can beat you, and that's kind of the secret.
You talked about, too, Chris Beard this season, Texas Tech, they have yet to register a bad loss. And what a lot of teams are doing near the upper echelon of the Big 12, your Kansas, Baylor, West Virginia, they're beating teams that they're supposed to beat, but it's looked ugly at times, like an Iowa State against Baylor. West Virginia has had some close ones against TCU, Kansas State at home. But for Texas Tech, you've got the near 30-point win against Iowa State at home, the 20-point win against TCU, nearly a double-digit win against Texas. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat by a wide margin, and they knocked off a really good Texas team too. When you see that for Texas Tech coming into the game against Baylor on Sunday, does that give you or this team, this program, confidence against a Baylor team that seems to be clicking again?
I mean, I don't. I think it's about getting better, and I think that Texas Tech has done that. I don't know if they're playing their best basketball that they're capable of right now, but it seems to be trending in that direction, and that's kind of what they've been searching for. I mean, Chris talks about March, back in October, and he's always done that. And when he first got here and he started talking about playing in the national championship game and winning conference titles, I mean, Texas Tech was bad. I mean, they were. I mean, Tubby kind of started to turn around, but when Coach Gillespie was here, I mean, and Chris Walker was the interim coach, I mean, they were 1-17 in the league. They were terrible, and I was doing those games. Then, and you got on a plane for a road trip, you had no chance at all. So I think some of it is just talking about getting better and improving and getting, it's not just about the results. It's about improving as a team and chemistry and all those things. And they certainly are starting to do that lately. How much of that can continue on Sunday or next week in Kansas City, I don't know, because there's some certain things that this team has to do well to beat good teams. And some of that is you got to have more than Mac McClung scoring. I mean, that's just the bottom line. You can't. He's not going to be able to put up 30 and then you win. We've seen that happen in Morgantown where he put up 30 and you lost. So you need some help there. And like last night, it's 5 guys in double figures. I mean, that's closer to the recipe.
When you look across the way, too, and you see a Baylor team that now, I mean, last night, Jared Butler looked really, really good, as he did against West Virginia on the road, and now Matthew Meyer has come alive. We talked to him in the post-game press conference, and he said that he went to the coaches and said, look, you know, I feel like I deserve more playing time. I deserve a larger role. The coaches have given it to him, and now he's got 20 points on average in the last 2 games. You look across the way at a team like the Bears. What do you expect to see on Sunday, especially in matchup 2 between these squads?
Yeah, they're just, Baylor's hard to guard, and Meyer is like a prime example of that. He's kind of been a role player at times, a bench guy and this and that. It's been fascinating because anytime that I'm asked about it, I mean, I think he's the best NBA prospect on their team. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that Butler or one of these guys can't emerge and be like a 10-year NBA guy. I just see 6'8". I see skilled. I see athleticism. I see shot making. I see space in the NBA. It's just a different game, and he seems to check a lot of those boxes. So again, just my opinion. I may be in the minority there, but that's what makes him so hard to guard, because you can't take this away. It's kind of a pick your poison kind of deal, and it's always a game that's ultimately decided on the glass. Sometimes Baylor's best offense is letting one of those skilled guys shoot it, and then hunting it down and going to get the ball if it misses and putting it back. I mean, so second chance opportunities are always huge. But so if Texas Tech has a chance on Sunday, got to play one of your best games on defense, and you got to create some contested shots that you hope that they miss, and then you just have to. I think in the first matchup, it was Baylor's defense that won the game. Texas Tech just had a hard time scoring, and that's why I say not as much firepower in Lubbock this year compared to a team like Baylor. So McClung is going to get his looks, but other guys have to come along and be aggressive and hunt their shot as well. And you can't pass up open looks, or you may not get another one.
With a guy like Marcus Santos-Silva on the Texas Tech side and what he brings to the table, Baylor has struggled at times down low this season with Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua, Flo Thamba, Mark Vidal kind of sliding over to those spots too, with trying to put up with a guy that plays physical and big down low. If Santos-Silva is able to make a home in the paint on Sunday, is that a key for Texas Tech to maybe win or even make this game within 3 or 4 points?
Well, he's got to be a part of it, Drake. I think he had an issue with staying out of foul trouble several weeks ago and just picking up a couple of quick fouls, and then he's just kind of non-existent, has a hard time getting in the flow of the game. He's avoided that in the last 3 to be exact, and he's putting up close to double type numbers, and went for 14 and 7 last night. 6 of 8 from the field, and that's efficient. If you're getting 8 shots, you're knocking down 6 of them. That's what you want, but that's a bit unrealistic to do that every night out. But yeah, his issue is if he can play 30 minutes for you, you'll like the results. It may not be overwhelming and all that, but it's when he can only play 19 or 21 because he's in foul trouble the whole game. That's been the problem. So keep an eye on that. It's more about his ability to stay in the game and be effective, as opposed to, picks up his second foul with 13 to go in the first half, and then, okay, now we got to go small, and now we're in a bind, and that's been the issue with Marcus. But lately, he's been able to avoid those.
So Saturday's slate, you got Oklahoma State and West Virginia. That game's going to matter for Big 12 standings. Texas Tech, Baylor, Texas, TCU. I mean, if TCU is to pull off an upset there, Texas could drop a little bit. But looking across the schedule, it's tough. It seems tough for Texas Tech to move up a couple spots going into Big 12 tournament play. What is your outlook for this team as they look toward that conference battle?
Yeah, you're talking like conference tournament, just kind of the way that this thing shakes out. Yeah, I have no confidence in TCU after seeing them up close the other night. I think it comes down to, Mike Miles and RJ Nembhard. It's kind of what we were talking about. That's the only way they can beat good teams. Those two guys have to play really well, and they were 5 of 20 against Texas Tech the other night, and it's just not enough. Kevin Samuel is more than capable, but there's just not enough else that can raise the tide there, and Texas has too much. So that would be a game that Texas would have to lose, in my opinion, as opposed to TCU winning. But it would require Nembhard and Miles to go wild, and Texas just to be off that day. I just don't expect it. We'll see, but that's why they play the games, right? The other game, in Morgantown, I wonder if Cade Cunningham will even play. And if I'm Mike Boynton, I don't know if that's the smartest thing. I think you have to worry about his future You guys saw the kind of the ankle issue last night. I mean, I don't know how bad it is, but I don't think you can take any chances. I don't think they're worried about making it to the tournament. I don't know that game really matters in this grand scheme of things as far as seeding goes. And so I would do right by Cade Cunningham. And I would say that even Kansas City, depending on what the ankle issue is, I would even suggest to you that Mike Boynton may consider sitting him in Kansas City just because it's not worth it. And you've got a top pick that has trusted you with his future, and I just don't think you could put it. So that could affect the result in Morgantown, whereas Oklahoma State could have made things interesting, but without Cunningham, certainly be tough.
And with Texas Tech, I mean, controlling their own destiny on the Wednesday night game in Kansas City, that's what's so weird to me in covering the Big 12 is a Sweet 16 caliber, Elite 8 caliber team like an Oklahoma, Texas Tech, maybe an Oklahoma State will have to play on Wednesday. The way that you see this, how big is it that Texas Tech avoids that Wednesday game?
Well, I think what it does is because now I think the Red Raiders have eliminated themselves from having to play on Wednesday, as you mentioned. I think with last night's results, they're on to Thursday. They can't fall any further than sixth place because they're tied with Oklahoma and they have the tiebreaker because they swept the Sooners. I just think if you have to play on Wednesday, it doesn't really, but it really eliminates any chance to win that tournament. You can do it, right? But it's not realistic to look at it and say, we can win 4 games in 4 days. I mean, not against that field. I just don't, I mean, that would take, and then it would take everything you had. You probably have nothing left for the following week in the real tournament. But that's what it allows now. Now that you skip to Thursday, now you have a chance to stay around KC a bit, make some things interesting, get some nice resume wins. Whereas, you're playing Iowa State on that Wednesday night. You have nothing to gain from that. That's only something bad can happen. So that's really what it changes. But as Chris said last night, he did at the time, we didn't know the OU Texas result, but he said, I don't care. I just want to play. Because I was on the broadcast last year in Kansas City. The Red Raiders and the Longhorns were on the floor warming up. And we see a bunch of guys out there with suits and ties and walkie-talkies going on. And we'd already done 20 minutes of our pregame show. And they said, everybody go home. And so our lives all changed at that very moment. And we're still in the midst of it.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, last but not least, before I get you out of here, Chris, looking at Sunday again a little bit more closely, Baylor and Texas Tech, from tip-off to final buzzer, what do you expect to see?
Well, it's a game, when you look at it, there's not necessarily a lot that either team can gain from it. Baylor's won the conference. They're going to be a 1 seed. There's nothing they could do to screw that up. Texas Tech, it would be a nice resume win. Maybe you move up. If you get it, you move up in the NCAA tournament, like from a 6 seed to a 5 seed or a 5 seed to a 4 seed, something like that. But this year, because the geography is not a factor, it's not like you're trying to get to go to Dallas or get to go to Tulsa like they've done before. Everybody's in Indianapolis, so it doesn't really matter as much as it would have. But this will be just a fun game because of the competition. And I don't know if either coach decides to rest anybody or play any of those games. I have no idea what to expect. But, I mean, I know Texas Tech will go down there and try to win. I know Scott Drew will want to, protect home court again and try to finish this thing off the right way. So that's what makes it a fun game because there's not a lot on the line. Technically, yes, Texas Tech could move up in the standings with the win and some other people losing. But you need some help there with Oklahoma State and then Texas losing and then a win there. But the grand scheme of things, not a ton on the line here in this game, but it should be fun.
It should be a fun one. Chris Level, the color analyst for Texas Tech men's basketball. Thanks so much for joining the show again. Always love talking to you. And let's say we do it again with Kansas City.
You got it, man. Thanks, Drake. Appreciate you having me on, my man.
Absolutely. Again, that was Chris Level, color analyst for Texas Tech men's basketball. When we come back, Devontae Bandu joins the show to talk a little bit of Baylor men's basketball and them winning the Big 12 championship, how big that was for this program, Scott Drew and the like. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims is in the void. We'll be right back with Devontae Bandu. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15, Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18, Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims. That's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Uptempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways, because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrapped fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrapped fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or wacocustommarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petticoat and Glow T Bears Den remote. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims on with you today, Up Tempo. Happy Friday, everybody. Devontae Bandu joins us in just a second. Breaking down last night's ball game, Baylor and Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center. The Big 12 champions would not be phased in the first game back. We all asked the question. We said, will Baylor be Baylor against OSU, or will they be just in that Cloud 9 mode where they don't show up and don't play to their maximum potential after winning a Big 12 championship? Well, they answered that question pretty emphatically with a win against Oklahoma State in Waco last night. Baylor improves to 20-1. 12-1 in Big 12 12 play against number 17 Oklahoma State and Cade Cunningham. Baylor earned their 12th Big 12 win of the year, assuring the Bears of finishing with both the most wins and fewest losses in the league. Baylor's now the nation's best, 12-2 against AP top 25 teams over the last 2 years, including 6-1 this season. They improved the Big 12 best, 27-4 in conference play over the last 2 seasons. Baylor now 10-0 at home this year. The Bears will go their first going for their first undefeated season at home since 1947-48 if they can win on Sunday. Also, Armstrong, I know I sent you some highlights in there on the chat thing. To queue up for here in a second, of last night's ball game. Then Baylor 20-1 start matches last season for the best 21-game record in program history, reaching the 20-win mark for the 12th time in the last 14 years. And the Bears had 3 20-win seasons in the previous 100 years of Baylor basketball. 24-1 at home over the last 2 years. Only lost in that Kansas game for College game day. They swept the series against Oklahoma State for the 7th time in the last 10 years. After never doing so before the last decade. Baylor is now led by at least 4 points in every game since the start of last season. They built double-digit leads in 19 of 20 games this year. And they're 46-5 since Maceo Teague and Davion Mitchell joined the starting lineup at the start of last year. Matthew Meyer tied a career high with 19. He's averaging 18.5 over the last 2 games. It's Matthew Meyer time, folks. Maceo Teague had 19 points, tied his season high with 5 assists. Butler had his 8th 20-point game of the season, 7th in Big 12 play, and his 18th career 20-point game. Mark Vidal, 83rd career game, taking over sole possession of 9th in program history and extends his school record with his 44th career Big 12 win. Matthew Meyer and Jared Butler won their 37th career Big 12 games, tied for 3rd most in program history. Baylor on top of Oklahoma State last night. Again, 81-70 stat lines across the board. Jared Butler finishes with 22. Matthew Meyer goes for a career high tying 19. Cade Cunningham put up 24, but he turned the ball over 5 times. Baylor forced 5 Cade Cunningham turnovers. He did have 7 rebounds and 4 assists. He still looked like Cade Cunningham last night. Baylor outshot by Oklahoma State. OSU 54%, Baylor 51%, 9 3-pointers for Baylor, 7 for OSU. Bears made more free throws than their opponent for what seems like the first time in a long time. 12 of 18. OSU was 7 of 11. Turnovers, Baylor won that battle 18-14. Bench points 24-20. They won the rebound battle 32-25. Points off turnover battle 26-18. And Baylor cruises to victory. It felt like the aura of the gym last night just felt like Baylor was going to win. Armstrong, do you have those the highlights from last night?
We do.
Beautiful. Let's rock and roll with it.
His Oklahoma State Cowboys visit the halls of the Big 12 regular season champions this year. They won it on Tuesday against West Virginia. The Baylor Bears with their first title since 1950. Who couldn't be ready for basketball? Oklahoma State and Baylor, and Baylor's first look at Cade Cunningham.
Baylor gets extra possessions. Great screen for the screener.
Jared Butler for 3.
Trying to throw behind you against this defense that is sprinting down the court behind the play, and you're going to turn it over every time.
Butler again splashes down his second 3.
And there's a great play. Back screen, lob out of the timeout. Really well executed. Don't let him outwork you. And already for 2 buckets, he's outworked Baylor. His arms go forever. Well, Baylor forces about 18 turnovers a game. They have one of the best turnover percentage rates in the country. Well, it's going to be all about North Carolina and their guards and their rebounding. If North Carolina's guards can play enough, what a move by Jared Butler.
After winning the Big 12 regular season championship on Tuesday, oh my, a hammer from Butler.
It's not all on the officials. That's something the rules committee has to clean up. We've got to change the way we call that.
Stuffs it home. Meyer had to save it as he got into his own teammate Mitchell. Off the pitch ahead, and a pull-up 3 is cash for a 13-point lead for Maceo Teague. Mitchell got a 3.
And all of a sudden, we got 2 turnovers and Baylor taking it the other way.
In the corner, Jared Butler. Somebody just said, I need this rebound, as Baylor does get it by 11.
Baylor does it again, winning their 20th game of the season against Oklahoma State, 81-70. We're going to hit a break here real quick. When we come back, we've got Devontae Bandu joining the show, and Scott Drew, Matthew Meyer, and Jared Butler in their conversation with the media last night post-game after the win. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims is in the void. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65, and number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament, and number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Pickell and Glow Team Bears Den remote. Happy Friday, everybody. Prefacing a big weekend in Baylor athletics this weekend. I know we mentioned it in the Armstrong's Minute, and we're moving a couple of things around here in the show on the schedule today. We had Devontae Bandu at 12:30. We're pushing that back just a little bit. We got Scott Drew Bites and Matthew Meyer, Jared Butler to run here in a second as well. All those things pushed back just a second due to some technical difficulties we're having on the end with Skype, including myself. I think I'm frozen here. I'm just trying to look. Remote shows, baby. Remote shows. Got the composite schedule this weekend for Baylor athletics. Yesterday, you had men's basketball, again, women's tennis against TCU, a 4-3 win at home in Waco. Men's tennis at number 12, Wake Forest, a tight 4-3 win. Scotty B, the Baylor King, had some info on those two matches earlier for us in the show. Softball at number 13, Louisiana, an 8-1 win in Lafayette. And then today, baseball against Memphis. A beautiful day in Waco to go catch some baseball, 6:30 p.m. that game. Saturday, you've got a whole slate. Track at the Longhorn Invitational. Equestrian, Oklahoma State. Number 6, Oklahoma State. Softball against Tarleton State. Women's tennis against Texas. After that, baseball, Memphis. Softball, Louisiana Tech. Women's basketball, Kansas. Acro and tumbling, Oregon. Volleyball, Oklahoma. Baseball, Memphis. Soccer, TCU was canceled, but that's okay because you look at Sunday's slate. Sunday, you got men's basketball, Texas Tech, Equestrian, number 5, Fresno State. Softball, Louisiana Tech on the road. Women's tennis, Texas Tech. Baseball, Memphis. Softball, Tarleton State. Men's tennis at home against number 21, Arizona State. So full weekend, full slate of Baylor athletics. But I want to take you guys back to yesterday's game between Baylor and Louisiana in softball. Now, I'm a big softball guy, an aficionado, a connoisseur, if you will. Louisiana is a really good program. Baylor went on the road in a top 15 matchup. That is the best team they played so far this season. Number 13, Louisiana, when it comes to rankings. And they did they beat the crap out of them. Check out the highlights from last night's win, 8-1. Against number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette.
Tonight, they take on another highly regarded program as Baylor's Bears come to Cajun Country.
All the Georgia players that have transferred in bring that experience.
2-2 swung at and missed as Mills went after the breaking ball. And right field already this year. This one's lined, but right at the shortstop, Benford.
And old school signals from both.
Ground ball bounces over the head of Mayu. That's going to play the run. And now the ball gets away for a minute in right field. Heading around to third base is Watson. And Dawson has her second hit of the ball game. And an RBI single makes it 2-1. 1-2 pitch, sky to right field. Coming on is Watson and makes the diving grab out in right field. 7, 8, and 9. Jenna King lays down the bunt on the first pitch. Throw to the second baseman. Hot covering in time. Nice defensive play for the Bears. Here comes the payoff. This one's lined into left center field. Hit well. Going over and not being able to get there is the center fielder, Bryan. Throw's going to come in. They will send the runner, and the throw is not in time. And now heading for third on the throw is Gilbert. She'll get an RBI double. Here comes the 1-1. This one's lined to left, and this is deep and off the wall on the fly. Handled in left field by Talley, but one run will score from third. And McGuan is in at second with the double, an RBI double, and just like that, it's 4-1. And the 2-1 grounded up the middle. This will get into left center field for a base hit as LaValle delivers the RBI single, and it's a 6-run inning for the Bears. And Baylor with an impressive offensive performance in this one. They take an 8-1 victory.
Baylor with an absolute onslaught in the 5th inning of that one to knock off Louisiana on the road and take home another win this season. The Baylor softball team dropped out of the rankings That's right. They dropped out of the rankings after a tough weekend. And I tell you what a way to respond against the number 13 team in the country, knocking off Louisiana on the road. All right, one of the things we're going to get to later on in the show, we know we typically do our bears and busts. That's been kind of thrown for a loop in the last couple of weeks when you factor in all the stuff that's been going on between the snowstorm that hit and then now us going remote shows. The bears and busts have been a little bit lost on us. But here's what we've got. Armstrong should have queued up in there a shot last night. So I saw this and I wanted to show you guys. A shot last night in a high school basketball game. This, typically I don't want to get on officials too much, but after the West Virginia game where Baylor and West Virginia, the disparity in free throws, it kind of got a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to officials and officiating. And this right here last night was, I'd take a look. Boom. Three-pointer to win the game. Official calls it a 2. Watch this again. Armstrong, if you can play this on repeat, too, that'd be great. You got Lakiba Sickles, Keely Cox, hits a shot at the buzzer, but doesn't get behind the three-point line. That's the caption. Kiowa wins in Oklahoma, watch this. I don't know if you can slow-mo that, but her feet are a foot behind the three-point line. Keely Cox hits a three-point shot to send her team, Lakiba Sickles, to overtime in the playoffs. All right, Oklahoma Preps basketball, playoff basketball. And they say that she didn't get behind the three-point line when her both feet, very obviously a foot behind the three-point line. This girl nails the shot at the buzzer. Buzzer rings off, and it goes in. Team should have gone to OT. But instead, the official, which I don't know what he's looking at, the far side official calls this a 3. Team's moving on. You go to the next round of the playoffs. Congratulations. Great job, ladies. But now instead, the seniors' year is done. For the seniors on that team, their season is done. No overtime to be played. That girl that hit the game-tying shot at the buzzer very clearly behind the three-point line has to live with the fact that three-pointer didn't count because the referee that was standing about, 5 feet away from where she nailed that shot, called that a 2. If I'm the coach of that high school basketball team and you're going to kick my team out of the playoffs on a call like that, granted it's after the game, but you're going to not just have to throw me out of the gym, you're going to have to ban me from sporting events for the rest of my life. I don't understand how you can be 5 feet away from that call in the playoffs. Granted, officiating's a hard job, all right? I did Pee Wee basketball. I've been there. I officiated Pee Wee basketball. I officiated softball. I did some baseball games here or there, some stuff like that, some frozen camera work. But I'll tell you what, how hard is it when that is the game-winning shot? How do you miss just looking at the girl's feet to see that she is clearly behind the three? Do you have the video? Can you show the video again? There are seniors on this high school basketball team that their basketball career is done on this play right here because the official that is standing looking at her feet thought this was a 2-pointer. You don't get to play basketball ever again. Your basketball career's over. Sorry about your bad luck. You're done. Because the official watching that right there. Granted, yes, there are the people that are like, oh, well, they should have scored more earlier in the game and they should have done this and that and whatever. It shouldn't come down to the last shot of the game. But folks, think about it. That right there, the difference in the game, that shot. And somehow, if her foot was vaguely near the line, it would make a lot more sense. But as you can see, it is quite clearly a foot and a half behind the three-point line. That, like I said, we've been thrown for a loop this week with bears and busts and the snow and everything. And I've been giving people a break with my busts and not been pumping busts out there, but I had to give a bust of the week to that guy. Armstrong, immediate reaction.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's real rough.
That's rough. All right. Baylor men's basketball last night, Oklahoma State, final score again, 81-70. Jared Butler, 22 points. Matthew Meyer, 19 points. Apparently, these guys are doing a dunk competition, too, to see who can have more dunks on the season. And they talked about it with Coach Scott Drew in the postgame as they had passed Oklahoma State, no media looking ahead to Texas Tech on Sunday. So they had a couple questions in there popped about the Red Raiders and how they're going to fend them off in Sunday's game. But here's what we're going to do. We'll hit a break. When we come back from this break, we'll check out the highlights from last night's game one more time and hear from Scott Drew, Matthew Meyer, and Jared Butler on their win against Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center, further solidifying their Big 12 championship and Baylor's number 1 seed in the conference tournament. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims in the void, and this is Up Tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette, 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU in Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims. That's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
MP Electric has developed a quality-oriented electrical contracting service in more than 20 years in the industry. Led by President Mark Perry, our electricians go through a 5-year apprenticeship program, are licensed by the state of Texas, and getting continuous education annually upon renewal. In great part, the success of MP Electric lies with its management and professional expertise of its employees. All of our employees share a dedication to quality and commitment to serving the needs of our customers. For new construction and remodels, parking lot, lighting and surge protection, landscape lights, security lights, troubleshooting, and repairs. For industrial manufacturing, food and beverage, paper and publishing, heavy industry, cement and rock crushing plants, water distribution plants, and utilities. For 20 years, MP Electric has serviced industrial, commercial, and residential products. We do service right. MP Electric Inc. at 1890 Galaxy Road, Waco. MPElectricUSA.com.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental. Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Let's go! Happy Friday, folks! Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den, but remote today. Hopefully for the last day. You know what? I've gotten comfortable. I've gotten complacent with my little pictures in the background, my Joe Montana, my trophies, my Kim Mulkey. I got this right here, with a little, this is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People miniature version. Yeah, a little desk version. I love it here. I love being able to wake up, roll out of bed, walk about 6 feet and be on up tempo. It's great. But I'm excited to be back in the studio with Armstrong and JD on Monday. And I what a show it'll be on Monday following what's going to be a huge weekend in Baylor athletics, Baylor sports. Following yesterday's game, Oklahoma State and Baylor, we got the highlights. Jared Butler with the dunk, Matthew Meyer with a slam, Jonathan Chachua with the alley-oop, folks. It was bliss, obliteration, domination, arbitration. I don't know, artificial insemination. Baylor men's basketball on top of Oklahoma State yesterday. Check out the highlights.
His Oklahoma State Cowboys visit the halls of the Big 12 regular season champions this year. They won it on Tuesday against West Virginia. The Baylor Bears with their first title since 1950. Who couldn't be ready for basketball? Oklahoma State and Baylor's first look at Cade Cunningham.
Baylor gets extra possessions. Great screen for the screener.
Jared Butler for three.
Trying to throw behind you against this defense that is sprinting down the court behind the play, and you're going to turn it over every time.
Butler again splashes down his second three.
And there's a great play. Back screen, lob out of the timeout. Really well executed. Don't let him outwork you. And already for 2 buckets, he's outworked Baylor. His arms go forever. Well, Baylor forces about 18 turnovers a game. They have one of the best turnover percentage rates in the country. Well, it's going to be all about North Carolina and their guards and their rebounding. If North Carolina's guards can play enough, what a move by Jared Butler.
After winning the Big 12 regular season championship on Tuesday, oh my, a hammer from Butler.
It's not all on the officials. That's something the rules committee has to clean up. We've got to change the way we call that.
Meyer stuffs it home. Meyer had to save it as he got into his own teammate Mitchell. Off the pitch ahead, and a pull-up three is cash for a 13-point lead for Macy-O-T. Mitchell got a three.
And all of a sudden, we got 2 turnovers and Baylor taking it the other way.
In the corner, Jared Butler. Somebody just said, I need this rebound, as Baylor does get it by 11.
How about it? Baylor on top again. The overhits couldn't quite cover the 11.5, but that's all right. Baylor on top, 81-70. And then post-game, Scott Drew, Chad and Matthew Meyer, Jared Butler. Matthew Meyer here talks a little bit about his dunk competition that he has with Jared Butler. Jared Butler ended a man's career last night by dunking on him. It was Matthew Meyer time all night last night as well. This from last night's post-game press conference with Matthew Meyer, Jared Butler, and Coach Scott Drew.
I guess y'all kind of overcame the Cade Cunningham assault in the second half. What was that like, just keeping having to answer like you did?
Yeah, he's a great player. Does a really good job of getting to his spots and shooting over length. And, I just think it takes more than one guy to beat us. And I think we're overcoming the COVID, assault against us. So that helped us out a little bit too. So, yeah.
Was there maybe a little less stress coming into this game? How'd you, after clinching the title?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to handle. Like, you want to be content with winning the Big 12, but at the same time, you don't want to lose a game. Like, we're still playing games, you don't want to lose. It's like a hard line to maneuver in. You want to be successful, you want to be happy and be thankful, but at the same time, we got a next game. 24 hours, we play another game, so that's what it was today.
Hey, Jared, we joked earlier in the season about did you actually dunk in a game? You had 2 very good dunks. So that first baseline dunk, kind of when did you know you were going to go for the dunk when you were driving?
When did I know? I knew when the guy came over and he came over kind of wanted to take a charge, and I was like, ooh, I just got to jump as high as I can, and that was it.
And then it had been a few games since you all had gotten lobbed to Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
You all did the first half. What made that play successful tonight?
John's been acting for a lob for a long time. He's like, I miss getting lobs, and we got him one tonight. We just ran a play for him this time. We run plays for him all the time. Teams are just scouting it really well, and tonight they didn't scout it well.
Yeah, Jared, we always talk about how when the lights are brightest, you're playing your best. Tonight seemed like one of those nights. Did you feel like you were just kind of in a groove going head-to-head with Cade?
No, I just felt like I didn't want to be complacent from winning the Big 12. It's so easy to win the Big 12 and then come home and be like, all right, we're not going to play hard. We can lose the game. It doesn't really matter. And that was the challenge I wanted to take on. Just from a mood standpoint, we wanted to kill that mood, and no matter what, we're going to win games. That's what we're about.
Yeah, Jared, I was just going to ask you, just from a conditioning standpoint, where do you think you guys are now versus when you returned against Iowa State? Do you think you're all the way back, or do you think you just need a little bit more to get to where you typically have been? Yeah,
I don't think we're all the way back. I think the West Virginia game gave us, some more stamina. It helped us. It was like a workout almost. It got us back in shape and playing hard. Iowa State, my legs were going about the 12-minute mark of the second half. West Virginia, my legs were going as soon as I fouled out. And then, I think tonight we're stretching out a little more. So I think we're back at maybe 75.
Well, coming into the game, obviously coaches would be worried about a lot. 1, short turnaround. 2, such an emotional win, winning conference, and then being able to refocus and compete against maybe the hottest team in conference, 5 straight wins. And you knew Coach Boynton was going to do a tremendous job in having them prepared, and I'm really proud of our guys, player-led team. They came out focused and really did a great job in making sure that we did everything we could to get the win tonight.
Scott, how'd you feel like you guys responded to that Cade Cunningham onslaught in the second half?
Man, I tell you, you see why he's projected the number 1 pick in the draft. And we've played against so many great ones over the years. Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant. The list goes on and on. But he was really special when he got in the groove there. We tried to change some things up, but you got to give him credit when you're making tough shots over elite defenders and elite defense. Hats off to him, and Coach Boynton did a great job putting him in position to be successful.
And Matthew Meyer is really playing well. What are you seeing from him?
What you guys are, a lot of buckets. But he's really playing with confidence. He's being aggressive, and he's really rebounding a lot better. And defensively, he's gotten better. And that defense and rebounding has really been critical for us. And obviously, someone with his skill set at 6'9", it's very hard to defend. And happy for him.
Scott, the way you guys responded, like John said, Cade came out hot. He got it to 6 right away. But you guys kept answering every time they got close. Just talk about the different guys that stepped up.
I think, first of all, it started with the defense because you'd get a stop, you'd get in transition. And then I thought whenever we needed a run, we really moved the ball and got high percentage shots. Sometimes when we got it over double digits, we weren't as effective in either taking advantage from front ends of free throws or making free throws to get a little further separation. But really credit the guys for doing a great job getting stops and getting high percentage shots when we needed them most.
Coach, to be able to play the 6th-ranked team in the country 2 days ago, turn around, host the number 17 team, like you said, short rest, and play as well as you did tonight, does that give you guys a little bit more confident going into next week in the NCAA tournament after that?
Well, this is a confident group, and obviously when you win against good teams, it does reinforce what's working and what you need to continue to do. So that's always a plus. But that's the Big 12. Each and every night is a dogfight, and you got top 25 teams, great coaches, great players, and most important, if you're not in it and competing to win, you're not going to get a W.
Anything defensively in the block that you're seeing that you guys need to make an adjustment to on this? Because obviously, McCormick was so good for Kansas, and Oklahoma State had a lot of high percentage looks tonight.
Yeah, I think you pick your poison, and you look at it. Culver, we held him to I think 0 field goals, so we did an effective job against him. Tonight, you just have such an elite player in Cade, and the more attention you put on him, the more you try to slow him down, the more it leaves other people open. And they have some really good shooters. And I think we tried to take away the 3 as much as we could, which leaves you're going to be vulnerable somewhere. Now there's some times we could have better ball pressure, better execution. I think coaches always feel better when you have more prep days to go over someone's offense, defense, so you feel like you can put your guys in a better position to be successful because they've actually gone live against different sets and offense, and we weren't able to do that.
Yeah, Coach, we talk about Jared and how he seems to be at his best when the lights are the brightest. Tonight against Cade Cunningham, a couple of National Player of the Year candidates going at it. What did you see from Jared tonight?
Well, I asked him for one dunk before the game, and he delivered too. So, but it's great to see him getting his legs back, and obviously his offense has been very efficient, and he shot it really well the last 2 games, 25 and 22. Him and Davion probably would like some of those turnovers back, but other than that, both of them were very good.
Coach, you mentioned it on the onset, coming off emotional victory and a short turnaround. But down the stretch, did you feel like the guys were hitting a wall at all or slowing down, just from where you were sitting, your perspective there as Oklahoma State came back?
No, I think I definitely at West Virginia thought that we were better than we were the first 2 games, and I thought tonight we were better than we were in West Virginia as far as our guys. Again, every warm-up I ask our coaches and strength coach, and this was the most pop we've had, and it showed tonight. Jared, with those 2 dunks, he's got to be at his best to get that, He might not want to hear me say that, but my point is, tired legs, he's not dunking like that. So I thought he's done a great job in recovering, and Charlie's done a great job getting them to recover. And I didn't see near the fatigue and guys calling themselves out or coming out or standing up as much on defense. I thought we were a lot more active.
All right, that's all we have for Coach Drew. Coach, thank you for your time.
Appreciate you.
He's a great player, and we just tried to help as much as possible, but you can't help too much because they got great shooters. So that's a tough matchup for us.
And you're obviously playing at a high level. What are you feeling out there? Are you feeling a lot of confidence right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I just feel like when I go out there, I'm just going to be as aggressive as possible. And, it feels good when, if you miss a shot, you're probably not going to come out immediately. So that's giving me some more confidence.
Matt, after that big win on Tuesday, what did you guys do or say in the locker room to make sure everyone stayed super focused and not get complacent heading into this one?
Well, Coach Drew was just telling us, we have a checklist of things to do that we want to accomplish this season, and one of them is go undefeated at home. So, and we've never done that before, so this will be a great opportunity, and we want to leave a legacy as the best team Baylor's ever had. So, and also we're just competitive guys. We're not just going to come in and just let somebody beat us. So, yeah.
You had that three you hit in the middle of the zone in the first half where they almost stole the ball and you went up. Kind of in that situation, why did you feel like the three was the most effective shot, given that you did make it?
Well, I just backed. I was in the middle of the zone. I just backed out. The dude came, and then Cade was on me, and then he just like kind of backed up, and I was wide open. So it's a no-brainer.
Matt, I know you live with Jared. He had those two dunks, including that one that seemed to be his best one ever. Kind of what was it like to see him hit those dunks tonight?
Man, I mean, I want to see my reaction from it, but that, like, the whole reason we started the competition of, like, who can get more dunks is because I said, like, you'll never, ever dunk on somebody. You'll be lucky if you get, like, 1 or 2 dunks this season, wide open, fast break. And he's already got 4, and I know that because we're keeping close track. But I had a dunk today, too, and it doesn't count because if he lobs it to me, it doesn't count. And my one last game doesn't count either. So, I mean, as happy as I am that it was a great play, I'm also not happy that he's getting closer to my lead, so.
Oh, I don't know if I want to follow that up. We can just end it right there. Matthew, what is it like, the groove you're in right now, and why now? You've had games before, but you seem to be in such an incredible stretch.
Well, I mean, last game, after the Kansas game, I had like a real talk with Coach Drew and about playing time because I played 5 minutes, including garbage time. And, you know, I laid everything on the table I wanted to say, and, you know, he really listened to me, and he left me in for some mistakes in the West Virginia game, and I really appreciated that. And then he's letting me play through more stuff like today. And I think it's really just, you know, I think I've always been a good player. It's just, you know, coming in cold, it takes a little bit for you to get into it. And now when I get to play a couple more minutes and get in a groove, it just feels a lot better. So, you know, I appreciate the coaching staff for that.
We mentioned this a few weeks back about the free throws you were going to shoot and you didn't, and then you went back and shot them after a practice early in the year. How much more mature are you as a player, as a teammate, than you were perhaps last year?
I mean, it's night and day. I had a pretty big confrontation with Coach Tang right before the Kansas State game, and that was really like a switch flip for me. And since then, you know, I've been trying to keep myself in check, but that was like a moment that I'll be able to look back to and be like, that moment right there was when I decided to become like a good basketball player, like for real. So I've come a long way in that sense.
I care not who you are. That was awesome stuff. Matthew Meyer talking about how he went to the coaching staff and said, look, push comes to shove. Coach Drew, I want to play. I think I deserve more playing time. And Coach Drew, he listened. Like Meyer said, he listened. And then we saw Matthew Meyer averaging 18.5 points per game in his last 2 games, now getting the chance to play, prove himself, and he's doing a great job. You heard from Chris Level. He may be the best NBA prospect on this entire team for Baylor. All right, when we come back, the top 5 of the week, remote up-tempo the whole week this week. We got our top 5 things that happen. We'll break it all down coming up after this break. This is up-tempo.
Happy Friday, Baylor Nation, and what a Friday it is. Starting in basketball, the Big 12 champions and number 3 Baylor men's basketball team knocked off number 17 Oklahoma State in the Ferrell Center 81-70 last night, thanks to 22 points from Jared Butler and 19 from Matthew Meyer. Baylor's now 20-1 and 12-1 in league play headed into Sunday's game against Texas Tech. Elsewhere, number 6 West Virginia beat TCU 76-67. Number 13 Kansas had to fend off a 15-point deficit to defeat UTEP 67-62. Number 15 Texas notched a road win at Oklahoma 69-65. And number 18 Texas Tech bested Iowa State 81-54. On the women's side, unranked Ole Miss upset number 13 Arkansas 69-60 in round 2 of the SEC tournament. And number 19 Oregon fell to Oregon State 71-64. In softball, unranked Baylor exploded last night for a true road win at number 13 Louisiana in Lafayette 8-1 to open up a weekend slate. Nikki Dawson finished with 4 hits. And both tennis teams notched wins on Thursday, with the men beating number 12 Wake Forest 4-3 in Winston-Salem, and the women finishing off TCU and Waco 4-3. And buckle up for a busy weekend in which Baylor plays basketball, tennis, equestrian, softball, baseball, volleyball, acro, and tumbling, and more. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back to the Pickell and J.D Bears Den. I found out, Armstrong, that I can put the microphone like this, and I think I like it better. Happy Friday, everybody. Breaking down Baylor's win yesterday in men's basketball. I neglected to mention Matthew Meyer and I see the same barber. We go to the same exact barber. So does Zach Loveday. So not Zach Loveday. Who's the other? Is it Mark Patter? Who has the mullet? Somebody else has a mullet. But Matthew Meyer and I go to the same barber.
You go to the Waco barber?
I do go to the Waco barber.
Shout out Luke Wu.
Are you shouting him out right now?
I am. I love the guy.
For free 99?
What? Free 99?
For free 99. For free 99. Yeah, I do too. I like Luke Wu. As you can see, I'm sure the people at home do too. It rhymes. Look at the little rap verse right there. Top 5 this week. Number 5, Baylor men's basketball won a Big 12 championship. That's right. Yeah, they did. And we spoke to Terry Black, one of the OGs at Baylor, maybe the most prolific dunker in program history. So Matthew Meyer came to town. This, number 5 on the top 5 this week, Terry Black. Baylor men's basketball back on the map in that attempt. I want to know, for a guy like you, just a couple years removed when Scott Drew took over the program at, I guess he was like 17 when he got the head coaching job. What did you think of Scott when he first came in?
Scott was awesome, man. I knew Scott comes from a background, a basketball family, with great traditions and values. And meeting him, I was overseas when he actually called me for the first time, and I developed a relationship not far after he got there. And and over the years we've always kept in touch and text here and there. But I think it's awesome what he's been able to do, there in his 18 years.
Kind of apart from the program success and to your own personal success, you're obviously in the Baylor Hall of Fame. I mean, you have made the Hall of Fame in every level of basketball that you have played at. What is that like? When you've gotten those calls that say, hey, Terry, you're in another Hall of Fame. What are those moments like for you?
It's truly awesome. It's, years later, you start to see the hard work, finally come into place. And, it got overwhelming for a while because, I got the 3 at the high school, junior college, and college level. And, then 2 more comes in. And, and some of my friends joke I'm the most Hall of Famedest person that they know. So it's kind of cool.
I want to know, too, that feeling, when you compare that feeling to the pride you have in Baylor and Baylor men's basketball when they pull off things like they did last night, are those remotely comparable?
They are. I mean, they are. That I felt just as part of that win as those guys out there last night. I mean, that's huge to have a gap between 70 years and now to get something special like that done. And that's just a testament to what those guys are doing down there.
And I want to know how much, even to this day, do you keep up with Baylor men's basketball? I mean, do you still like to be in the thick of things?
I do. I regularly visit Waco, and I make my mark. I don't come in, I watch games, and we go home. Me and the kids sometimes will come down there. We come in, we will watch games, and I've kept up with those guys over the years.
And so to keep up with the program, to still be around the program, there are plenty of alumni who have played or been around things and just moved on and never come back. I mean, you're not one of those. You're still around, and to be around and to see this. Was this expected? Did you expect Scott Drew to come in and end up winning a Big 12 championship?
I knew he would get it done, over time. And each year, each team he's had has been a little bit different than the others, and for those guys that had the opportunity to go and do something special, this year and chose to go back to school, I think that's awesome. It speaks volumes of, those guys as far as character and as far as those guys as wanting to win and get something done for Baylor University.
Terry, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. We've gotten a lot of people, when they heard, Terry Black's going on the show, that have said, even Jerry Hill, that game against Kansas in 01, the win against Kansas in 01, is maybe the second biggest moment that Baylor men's basketball has seen in modern history compared to last night's Big 12 championship win. What do you remember about that game individually?
I mean, that game individually, it started after shoot-around. Guys usually, you go eat pregame and you may go home and nap and take showers and wash cars and just do different stuff. But, that day, I think our team had a paintball fight. We did nothing normal that day, and we came out and we arguably had one of the best games of college basketball ever. So it was kind of cool.
And I want to know, too, there was a lot of chatter from the Kansas program coming into that game. And obviously the bad blood that comes between two programs that are rivals on the basketball court. What was that like to get a win against a Kansas team that enjoyed the talk?
It was great. I mean, those guys, I believe they were ranked 6th in the nation at that time. And, they were as advertised. I think coming into our game, they got a little bit overconfident. And, we was able to put together a great game and beat a great Kansas team.
Now, I want to know, too, thinking back and being a part of that team in that moment, as you've seen Baylor men's basketball play in the 2 decades since then, now 20 years ago that game happened, what are some other moments that compare to that win against Kansas?
I just think other moments that compare, just watching those kids, the Perry Ellis to the Quincy Acies, the Millers, the Curtis Geralds, just watching all those guys go through that and leave a little bit behind for the next guys coming, and it's taking a village to build what they got. And, I think Coach has done an excellent job there.
You say it takes a village. You are a part of that village, one of those players that came before and have now helped build Baylor into what it is starting 2 decades ago. Talking about guys that are in that village, How meaningful is this, not just to you, but to other alumni?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm on a big group chat with guys that played at Baylor, and I regularly talk to guys that played at Baylor, and we were all talking about it last night. It's something that we'll all be able to hold a special part in our heart for what's happening down there right now.
I want to know, kind of from social media, maybe texts or calls, what was the reaction that you got? Did you hear anything last night building off of that game that folks were reaching out to you?
DeMarcus Minor. Talk to DeMarcus all the time, text, calls, and he posted a message on Facebook and he had all our names in it. Said, hey, you guys have mail on Twitter, so everybody rushed to Twitter, and we've seen the names out there, and the different people thanking us for our contributions to the program, and it's awesome. It's really a nice feeling.
How and in moments like this, how proud are you to now sit and wear that Baylor shirt on a day like today?
Oh, I'm proud. I'm proud of it, and I knew it could get there, but, it's going to take a while, and Baylor has steadily built over the years of, beating out the other, Big 12 schools, the Kansases, and, those Texas teams that, were tops at the division. But, he's taken his time, and, he's built what's a great program, and it was starting to get there when we all were there, even before I got there, but I think he's taken it to another level.
With this team, too, and what you've seen from, Jared Butler and Mark Vidal, Maceo Teague, and Davion Mitchell, the names, such all-star names in the Big 12, is this the best Baylor men's basketball team you think you've seen in the last couple decades?
I think it's definitely up there, if not the most talentedest team. And, one thing I like about those guys is when Butler fouled out, they all buckled down and, they all went to work together. They're playing for each other. And, and it's rare that you'll get that in teams. A culture that's been built down there is, next man up, and we all fight together, and, we leave it all out there. And I think those guys did an awesome job of that last night.
Yeah, when you think about, too, where this team's ceiling is, somebody remarked the other day and said, I don't think this Baylor team has a ceiling. They can really control their own destiny. What do you see out of this group? What do you expect moving forward?
Just remain humble and keep being the guys that they are, keep playing the way they play. None of those guys play out of character. They know what their roles are. They know what their looks are, offensively and defensively, and they execute. Those guys execute, man. That's the biggest with basketball. If your execution is there, you can do a lot of special things, and those guys are proving it right now.
Terry, through your 60 games of collegiate basketball and playing against the Kansases of the world, you talk about the Texas teams that were good. You saw some of the top-notch competition in college basketball and played right with those guys. I want to know, when you look at this Baylor team, do they seem like a legitimately, from a player standpoint, do they seem like a national championship caliber team?
Oh, they're legit. They're legit. I had them picked last year to do some things, and unfortunately with COVID, how that hit, we didn't get a chance to see how last year would have played out. But, that's where I said it's key for those guys that had an opportunity to leave and go and do some special things, and forward their career to come back to Baylor, because they knew they had an unfinished business. And, it's pretty cool to see guys do that, because you don't always get that with athletes.
I want to know, too, from your perspective, what is it that makes this team so good? Is it the culture, the athleticism, the way they play? Why is this team such a force?
I think it's such a force because of the culture. It starts with Coach Drew and Coach Tang, and the rest of the coaches are a big part of that. I like the grit guys and see how coaches up there in the locker room, and how they joke around and treat them more as family, but they know that everybody has a job to do. I think that's huge. When you get coaching like that, that's built a culture like that, sky's the limit, because those guys they're not playing on pins and needles. They're loose and they're ready to go.
And then, Terry, everything you built at Baylor, the legacy that you left behind that still resonates with folks today, the legacy's not done in the fact that, Anthony coming up and playing basketball right now. Just from a dad standpoint, how proud are you to now have a kid that's a 4-star basketball player that's got offers across the country and could play some legit college basketball?
I'm happy for him. he's worked really hard, to loosen up some things in his game where the holes were, and it's exciting to see. So we'll see where, what he chooses and where he lands and what he picks. He also has these offers in football as well. So, he's a unique athlete, and I'll be interested in what he chooses going forward.
And I want to know too, from your perspective, being an athlete, how does that help you guide him and his recruiting process, knowing that's something that you went through too from your playing days?
Well, I think the thing with him is, if he has questions, that anything that he can go through, or any level that he wants to be at, I've already done it. So I just serve as a tool for him, and if he has questions, he'll ask, and then we'll go from there. But he knows that I've done everything he wants to do going forward.
Tell me, Terry, I'm sure you guys have a hoop in the driveway. Do you still slam it on him every chance you get?
We did. We last played over Christmas, and we're in Milwaukee. I think I beat him 3 games, and he's taller than I am right now, and I weigh a little bit more. So, it's fun times. But we try and get out and play one-on-one a couple times a year.
I love it. And to finish things off, I really want to go back to where we started with this, and just the Big 12 championship win for Baylor last night. What does this mean, not just for you and not just for the teams, the guys came before, but just what does this mean for Baylor basketball as a brand and as a whole?
It's huge. I mean, it's as a whole, I think some of those ranked recruits that were maybe looking over at Baylor knows that the culture there to win at Baylor. It's taking some time. The women's did it obviously multiple times, and that they're in control right now. The guys doing it tonight, they're getting to the level where it becomes a little bit easier to recruit, guys that have different options, and Baylor's one of the options. But it definitely opens up the recruiting for guys that want to go to Baylor now and that Baylor's interested in.
Well, Terry, thanks so much for joining the show today, coming on and breaking things down across the men's basketball realm and the win last night. It's great to get your perspective and know that you're still a proud Baylor Bear.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Again, that was Terry Black, former Baylor men's basketball player from the 2000 season, 99, 2000, 2001, one of the most prolific dunkers and athletes that Baylor ever saw come through the program. One of those. That was number 4 this week on the top 5 things that happened this week that we have now dropped to 4. It is now 4 things due to some technical difficulties that we've been battling with being remote. But on top of that, Big 12 championship win, Jerry Hill joined the show. And Jerry Hill is number 3 on our top 4 things that happened on Up Tempo this week, breaking down Baylor and their Big 12 title. All right. Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den remote today following a Baylor men's basketball Big 12 championship. That's right. We're the first ones to be able to say that live on the air since 1950 as Baylor got it done yesterday in Morgantown against West Virginia. Final score 94-89 in overtime. And now joining us via Skype is Baylor Bear insider Jerry Hill. Jerry, thanks for coming on today and breaking things down for us.
You got it. How are you, Drake?
Oh my goodness. I can't help but smile. Jerry, I tweeted it out yesterday. The youngest person alive right now that was a student during Baylor's last Big 12 or last conference championship in men's basketball is 88 years old today. So I'm sharing a special moment that very few can say they've seen.
Well, and I'll say I'm not 88, so Drake, I'm not quite there. I was not around in 1950 when Baylor won its last conference championship, but yeah, it's exciting. I mean, and you feel so good for Coach Drew and that staff because they've worked so hard to build to this point.
Well, Jerry, I'm so glad that I asked you to be on, but I specifically wanted someone who was alive and remembered the 1950s. So I guess if that's the case, then Maybe I barked up the wrong tree.
Yeah, maybe you should have checked with Dave Campbell. Dave Campbell would have been around then.
Even so, you've been around this program for now decades, and just gotten to see what Scott Drew, the Baylor program, that culture is all about. I want to know, first and foremost, when Scott Drew was hired at Baylor, and even just his early years, what do you remember about Drew and that program?
Yeah, I just, it was, I thought it was a great hire at the time. A guy that already had, I know he'd only had the 1 year at Valpo, but, just a name that was out there. And because you really wondered at that time, who could you get, who was willing to come to a program and in the situation that it was in. And I, like I said, I thought Scott, even though he was really, really young, I thought it was a great hire. And, he obviously had, kind of both hands tied when he started, but you could see him kind of building, you could see him recruiting and bringing in the right guys and all that. And they were close, Drake. I mean, they made a couple Elite Eights and some Sweet 16s and all that, but I think this is big, but to win a Big 12 championship, because that's, and all the other stuff is great. And that's kind of the ultimate goal, is you want to get to a Final Four, but winning a Big 12 championship is a big deal.
We've heard plenty of people say that, or former players say, when Scott Drew was hired, I mean, he was almost as young as the guys on the team. Who is this young buck walking into the program trying to start rebuilding? What does it say that Scott Drew was able to take a program where Baylor was historically, not just what he was rebuilding past the Dave Bliss era, but historically, for 50 years prior to Drew, there wasn't a lot of success at all. What does it say about him as a coach to build this?
Yeah, and Drake, I think one of the big deals with Scott is he believed. That was kind of a big thing with him. And, I mean, you've been around him enough to know that, the guy he's definitely a glass half full. He's a glass full guy. He just always believed, but he, yeah, you're right. I mean, when you look at the history of this program and for them to do what they did, I don't think anybody thought they would do it. And honestly, as quick as he did, getting them to an NCAA tournament, I believe it was in his 5th year, and then to do what they've done in the, NCAA runs, the winning an NIT championship. I don't know that anybody could have predicted that. And, I saw a analogy or somebody had put this out yesterday, that the only thing you can compare it to is Bill Snyder, what he did at Kansas State, because that was a historically the worst college football program in the country, and Snyder really took that program to a different level when nobody thought it could be done there. So I think that's probably the closest comparison. But really, even Coach Snyder didn't walk into the situation that Scott did. So you got to give him credit, Coach Tang, those guys that have been with him. Like I said, you feel so good for them because they've worked so hard to get it to this point.
Jerry, I grew up watching Baylor basketball and rooting for the Bears. And I'm not sure if I could have prepared myself for a moment last night, even though I wasn't there for, the 80s, the 90s, and years where Baylor was just really in the doldrums of college basketball. I still don't think I can prepare myself for that moment last night when Jared Butler comes streaking across the court and Scott Drew tackles Mark Vidal and Baylor takes home a Big 12 championship. Is there a moment in men's basketball since you've been around this program that compares remotely to this?
Not that closely to that. I can think back, if they had knocked off Duke, in Houston that year, I think that would have been kind of that defining moment. This is exactly what this is. It's a defining moment for a program that has worked so hard to get it to this point. But yeah, in men's basketball, I can't think, Drake, of a moment like that. They've made it to, some Big 12 championship finals, working their way, going on unbelievable runs, and particularly in the NIT and stuff. But I don't think winning an NIT championship can compare to a Big 12 championship, honestly. I mean, that was a great run, getting to the finals of the 09 and the 13 NIT championships. But no, I don't think there's been anything to compare this to. I think back to beating Kansas in 01. With Terry Black and that group. That was a huge win, big thing for a program that really hadn't done much to that point, particularly in the Big 12 era.
Yeah.
That was probably as close to it, and it was just, but that one was so unpredicted. That one, it kind of came out of nowhere. This one, you've been kind of building to this point. You've seen them be so close last year when, they went 15-3 and finished second. That just doesn't happen. They said it was the first Big 12 team to ever go 15-3 and not win the league. So you were that close a year ago, and then to come back this year and win it. So this was less unpredictable, I guess, more predictable. But man, it was huge, Drake. I was actually watching up here at the Simpson, the athletic building, actually in David Kay's office, and I'm watching on TV, and I heard all these screams through the hallway, at the very end of the game. It was very cool. I can think of some times when I've been in this building and the football guys would get this big, huge recruit, and there'd be that same kind of eruption in the building. That's what last night was, and it was Mac Rhodes and Kenny and all these, all the ones that were still here that, were really just celebrating, and that tells you, too, how good people feel about Scott and just what he's done with this program.
And, that's kind of where I was going. That was moment number 2 this week of, 3 this week of things that happened on Up Tempo. And moment number 2, Take 3, the game that we play every Thursday where there are 6 facts, or are they? Which, man, what a show, too, following the Big 12 championship game. This, Take 3. During World War II, since there was a shortage of players. JD, true or false?
False.
Across his long tenured NFL career, through 92 games, Doug Flutie never threw 2 interceptions in the same game.
Wow. That's a great one.
Yeah, I'll give it true.
So meaning he never threw 2, but he could have thrown 3.
No.
So he never threw more than 1.
Right.
I'm gonna say false.
That's hard to do.
He's played a long time.
It's hard to do.
Played a long time.
He did start 66 games.
I'm gonna say false.
Michael Phelps holds the record for the longest golf putt ever made on camera.
No.
False. Okay.
I'm gonna say false because I would have seen the video. I feel like the video would be out there. Like people would have said every time the tour came around, they'd be like, "Reminder: Michael Phelps has the longest putt." Like here's the video. I'm gonna say false.
A man in Mississippi was briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at a county fair.
I go false. I'm sorry. But it could be real. Because that's how stupid it is.
Based on last week, I'm trying to think of Drake's strategy right now, and so many of these, I'm like, are they just all false? Because some of these sound crazy. All right, I'm gonna change number 1 to true. So Jack Daniels was on the national baseball team. I'm gonna say that the curveball question is false.
Okay.
No way, Jack Daniels.
In the mid-90s, Wisconsin volleyball's 6'5" outside hitter Kennedy Sauer became the only Division I athlete to win 4 consecutive National Player of the Year awards, which still stands, and she still holds 11 NCAA volleyball records.
True.
I'll say true.
4 National Player of the Years, and then former NBA player Eric Money played and scored for 2 teams in the same game in the NBA.
Eric Money. All right, I'm gonna go true because
you can do it on basket.
I'm gonna go true.
No,
true.
No, he like in the jersey of the other team too.
Did Jackie Moon do that? No, he was.
How is that even possible? All right, but I'm gonna go true.
Okay.
JD? I'm gonna say. I guess I'll go true.
I went true because I already used up all my falses.
I was going to say the same, but I want to change another answer, but I can't keep doing that. I'll say true.
Jack Daniels, whiskey namesake on the U.S. national baseball team during World War II since there was a shortage, made that up out of thin air.
Dang it.
So false.
Good.
Across his long tenured NFL career through 92 games, Doug Flutie only threw 2 interceptions in the same game. Never? False. Thin air.
Michael Phelps is going to be true.
No way.
Michael Phelps does hold the record for the longest golf putt ever made on camera. The video's out there. 53 yards.
Wow.
159-foot putt.
That's the width
Still
of a football
holds the
field.
record.
That's impressive. Yeah. Why is that? Why have I never seen that?
Longest made putt ever on camera. It's out. The video's out there. Adventure's out there. A man in Mississippi briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at the county fair is true. Okay. That happened.
That's funny.
Sent him to prison for throwing a curveball.
Imagine being there. Imagine being the batter being like, hey.
Mid-90s, Wisconsin volleyball 6'5" outside hitter Kennedy Starr became the only Division I athlete to win 4 National Player of the Year awards. Still stands. She holds 11 records. Kennedy Starr is in the Wisconsin Volleyball Hall of Fame, but all I did was Google a Wisconsin volleyball player, and the rest of it's made up.
Dang it.
That was false. And then last but not least, former NBA player Eric Money did play and score for 2 teams in the same game. In 1978 November, the Nets coach Kevin Lawfrey had 3 technicals in a game, right, in the second half of a game. And the NBA came out and they're like, you can't do that. That was illegal. So they made the 2 teams replay their game, the start of the game. They made them replay the second half of the game a couple of months later. Well, by the time they played that game, Eric Money had been traded to the other team.
No way.
Yep.
Drake, hats off to you. This was a tremendous take 3 today. This was a really good take 3.
This was a good one.
He was in the stat book for both of those.
You nailed
He was in the stat book for both of those. All right, I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell. And the number 1 moment of this week's top 4, Baylor men's basketball. Big 12 champions on top of West Virginia this week on Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m., punching their first conference title ever in the Big 12 and first overall since 1950. The highlights from Baylor's Big 12 title.
Right now, we've got number 3 against number 6. West Virginia hosts Baylor. Easy dump down for Chama Chachua.
They had him.
From the corner, it is good before halftime. Butler, answer.
Big basket by Flagler.
Flagler, yes. Cade stripped it away. Vital and Flagler in the corner. Vital's got the loose ball.
He got 3 loose balls on that play.
He gets bumped. Plus the foul. The loose ball, though, to Teague. Mitchell spots up. Knocks down a 3. Matthews beaten by Meyer with a hustle play, and it's going to be a cruise-in layup. Butler floats it up to Meyer. Set play. Meyer for 3. Ties the game. Meyer feeling it. Why not? And 25 points. Butler gets to the rim. Plus the foul. And he will. In the mid-range. He'll drive it and tie it up with 2 seconds remaining. In and out. Offensive rebound, Vital. There's a 3 from the corner for Butler. Extra pass. Shot fake by Teague. Steps in for 2. 1 minute to go in overtime. Taking his man is Davion Mitchell. It's McBride. Goes to the rim. Offensive foul. What a win for Baylor. The champions in the regular season.
An unbelievable week in Baylor sports history, taking home the Big 12 championship, knocking off number 6 West Virginia on the road, followed by an 11-point win in a game against Oklahoma State. Now the men's and women's basketball teams, both Big 12 champions, the first time that one program, one school has had both the men's and women's teams win it since 1997. Armstrong, how about it this week?
Man, watching those highlights again kind of got me chills, but also I had completely forgotten, I guess, how huge Matt Meyer was. Down in the at the end of the game. I mean, we did not win that game without Matt Meyer.
It has been Matthew Meyer time all week this week.
Yeah, it has.
Celebrity birthdays. All right, Armstrong. Penn Jillette. You know who Penn Jillette is?
I do, yes.
Yeah, Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller. How old is Penn Jillette?
I'm going to say Penn is 57.
He's 66 today.
Really?
66. Yep. Really? But the Proclaimers, Charlie and Craig Reed of the Proclaimers. Is that the I would walk 500 miles? I think it is.
Okay, then I'm going to go 50.
59 today for the two lead singers of the Proclaimers. Eva Mendes. How old is Eva Mendes today?
25.
Eva Mendes is 47.
She is
flattered, though. She is absolutely flattered.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's see. There are a couple more on here. Momofuku Ando, inventor of ramen noodles.
How long ago would that have been? Okay, so I'm going to say he's 80.
What did I say? Momofuku Ando?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now. Okay,
Momofuku,
so he'd been
111. Okay.
111 today. Momofuku Ando, happy birthday. Other celebrity birthdays. How about, wow, now we get all the TikTok stars. I know you don't know a lot of them.
Nope.
Mario Bautista, pop singer Mario Bautista's birthday is today. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring him up.
You would. 29.
Oh, 25. No freaking way. It is Joel Osteen's birthday.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to say Joel is 58.
50. Oh, my gosh.
Really?
Joel Osteen's 58 today.
Wow.
He is 58. How about Justin Fields, quarterback at Ohio State?
21?
22. Misao Akawa.
That makes
Misao Akawa would have been how old today?
Would have been. So I'm going to say he's 93.
123. The reason Misao Akawa is famous is Misao was a super centenarian. He lived for 117 years. Born in 1898, died in 2015. Just couldn't make it to 2021. Sad that we cannot celebrate.
He lived during 3 centuries.
Yeah, very sad that we cannot celebrate with the Okawa family today. But yes, Misao Okawa. Then we have this day in sports history. Today in sports history, guess what happened?
Today in sports history?
Yeah.
The 6th Grand National.
Oh, so close. The 7th Grand National. But I wanted to start with the 2nd Grand National that was also today, where Bartholomew Bretherton wins aboard 16-1 Jerry, a then smallest field of 13.
You gotta love Grand National season.
Yeah, you do.
I can't remember what dates these are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 1837.
1840. 2nd Grand National, 1840. The Grand Nationals did not exist in 37. The 7th Grand National, William Loft, aboard Outsider Cure-All, wins in record time of 10 minutes, 47 seconds.
1845.
Oh, 1845. How did you know?
I don't know. I'm just a big Grand National fan.
Wow. Not a big math guy, but a big Grand National guy.
Yeah.
The 2nd ACC men's basketball tournament, in which NC State beat Duke 87-77.
When did the ACC? 69.
55, actually.
Wow, ACC's been around.
Earlier. Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely earlier I thought it would be the 7th ACC men's basketball tournament. Duke beats Wake Forest 63-59.
What did we just say? Okay, 60.
Wow, how did you know?
Just a big ACC fan. What can I say?
Just a big ACC guy. Oh, my goodness. Atlanta Mayor Ivan Allen Jr. announced that a baseball team is moving to Atlanta in what year?
1984.
1964. Okay. Ice Dance Championship at Hartford, won by Jane Torville and Christopher Dean. How could you forget? It was this day on what year?
Yeah, of course. 2002.
1981. 1981.
Close.
A couple of more of these. You got Moses Alou announces he will retire following the World Baseball Classic in what year?
Yes, of course. 1997.
Moses Alou, come on, man. That's 2000. Moises, 2009. 2009.
I'm so sorry.
Moses. David Silva, last one. David Silva scores 38-minute winner as Manchester City scores 1-0 win over Wigan at City of Manchester Stadium to start EPL record 20 home game winning streak. Streak ends 31-3-12.
If it were 1-0, they won 1-0, or as it's known in soccer, a blowout. I'm gonna say 2007.
2011. Big soccer guy, though. You were close. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. Join us on Monday. We break down all 35 Baylor games that are going on this weekend, from men's basketball, women's basketball, equestrian, all the way to tennis. This has been a big week of Up-Tempo where your Baylor Bears, men and women, are champions of the Big 12. Thanks for joining us all week long. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. This has been Up-Tempo.